There we go. It's time to go hiking, people. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Caliber Corner Season 6, episode number 293. Take a hike. No, wait. Don't go. When we say take a hike, we're talking about going out and taking a hike, which is going to be the topic for today. Essentials for enjoying the outdoors, Fall Edition 2023. This is going to be a two-part series. I'm just going to tell you that right now, because today we're going to discuss the mindset for going into hiking, what to think about, what to plan for, the essentials, clothing, bags, etc., and then more on the actual specific gear in a couple weeks. So let me just explain real quick. Let's get this house cleaning out of the way here. Next weekend, I'm going to be busy, so there won't be a Caliber Corner on Saturday, just so you guys know. This will be our regular time, Saturdays at 8 a.m. And then in 2 weeks, I had a viewer request for a topic that we've never covered before. 10mm auto. We've never had a 10mm discussion on Caliber Corner. We've talked about the guns. We've just never focused on the caliber. The pros, the cons, what's out there now. And now that I'm the proprietor of a sweet High Point JXP 10, we need to have a 10mm auto discussion. So that's going to happen. Now, Squib claims that we did a 10mm auto discussion, but YouTube took it down. And what was the reason, Squib? Why did YouTube take that episode down?
It's because 10mm auto is too powerful.
It's too powerful it broke the internet. It broke the internet. It broke. What was it that I broke? I don't remember what it was. There was that website. It's the VidMe. I broke VidMe when I uploaded my collection. I took VidMe down. So yeah, that 10mm, man, that's the that will break the internet, because it's too much for most men to handle. So anyway, we'll have a 10mm discussion in 2 weeks, and I've already posted that topic. And then after that, we'll come back and then we'll do a part 2. Now I've got an opportunity to do a few hikes here in the next couple weeks, and I'm actually going to get out and test some of the gear that I'm going to be showing you guys today. But we got Black Cat Outdoors joining us today. Black Cat, how's it going, man? How you doing? You good? He's on the road right now. There he is. Yeah. Oh, we don't have any audio. Shoot. All right, so Black Cat, when you get some audio back, just go ahead and let us know, okay? All right. Squibby, how's your morning going? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm waking up. Got my coffee. Ready to talk about hiking.
Look at this. What's your mug say? What's it say? We're on the trail. See you on the trail.
Yeah. It's one of my Arizona Ghost Riders.
Oh, mugs. I thought maybe it was one of those.
I did another Arbuckles video before the pre-chat.
Oh, sweet. I thought maybe that was a mug you got from Spreadshirt when you ordered like a pair of shorts. They sent you a coffee mug. So
no, yeah. Actually, with the mugs I've ordered from that store, I've gotten what I asked for, but just with the other stuff, it's just like whatever. Hey, you know what? They want to send me free stuff, even if it's late. I'll take free stuff. I mean, I didn't keep the wife beaters, but maybe I should.
Yes, I know. I mean, I think it would have been worth it. So you had some interesting themes there with yours going on. So yeah.
I like the fact that channels offer swag, because if you've got viewers and they want to have a decal or a patch or a coffee mug or a shirt or hat or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
If enough people ask for it, if nobody asks for it, don't bother. But if enough people ask for it, then go ahead and offer it and take suggestions. And I know sometimes it's a pain. I've talked to some of you guys off air about the services and trying to, change sizes and colors and get this pattern, that pattern. It is, but if your audience asks for it and you've got a big enough subscriber base that you think is worth it, I think it's just a really nice thing to do. If the channel makes money, great. If they don't make money, so be it. But if the audience, asks for it, why not?
Yeah. We're going to be switching over to Wayward Son Custom Gun for Thunder on the Prairie 2024. I talked with Wayward Son this summer about that. I'm just going to let them handle it. I don't even want to mess with it. Spreadshirt or Teespring or whatever was a nightmare with screwing up everybody's orders and the delays. It was ridiculous. I don't know how a place can keep their doors open when they run it the way that they do. It was trash. I'm just going to say it right now. I don't think anybody got their stuff at all within like 2 months after ordering it. So many people got screwed up orders. So many people got charged for stuff they didn't want. It's ridiculous. And I think and I even have like Spring is like my company that does the Travis P11 shirts down below. But I think it was Spring or whatever. But anyway, they got bought out by a major company and they still mismanage it. So we're just going to go with Wayward Son for that. And then my own shirts, my Travis P11 logo shirts, I might just pull the Spring stuff off my YouTube channel and just offer them on a different website and just have a link for that and just get them done locally, because I don't know. It's really not worth the problems. But anyway, enough of that.
We want to see a Travis P11 morale patch, the Velcro morale patch.
Yeah, we should offer
with the
those.
logo.
We
Yeah.
could do those. I need to talk to Alan Anchor or talk to one of our patch makers out there, talk to G-Webs and see what we can do. So yeah. Sweet, man. And then also joining us, he's back. He's he just graduated high school last weekend. AWAG 1000 is with us. AWAG, how's it going, man? How you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and it wasn't high school; it was elementary school.
Oh, there you go. So AWAG was just a young buck when he joined us, and now he's like, hey, are you pushing 30 yet? Are you 30 years old yet?
I'm definitely knocking on 30's door, and I'm 27 right now.
Seems like just yesterday you were getting your driver's permit when you joined us, you know?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Oh, man. Yeah. So anyway, let's see who's out there joining us on the YouTube side. Then we'll just go ahead and fire it up. We'll just start talking hiking and stuff. A lot of the stuff we're going to talk about, okay, shameless self-promotion here. I've got in video, Squib YouTube. We've got videos on a lot of this gear that we're going to be talking about and showing you guys. So go back and check our channels if you want to see our reviews. Squib does some pretty hardcore gear tests, and he's not afraid to show you if a product fails. None of this stuff that we have has ever been given to us, like from sponsors or anything like that. Or if it was, we were transparent. We were transparent that this was sent to us for testing. It failed, you know, and we're not afraid to say it because we don't care, you know.
I'm sure you've gotten the emails like, "We saw your video on this. Would you like to try our product?" And you know, you just understand that, you know, I'm going to tell the truth about it, whatever. And they're like, "No, we want a positive review."
Yeah, in exchange, you people, everybody watching this, you have no clue how many things that we get. And they say, we'll send you this. All we ask for is a 5-star review. All we ask for is a positive review. Now, the places I've taken stuff from, I've told them, I'm going to give a fair review. I said, I can't guarantee you I won't say negative things, but I do tell them if the product's defective. That's a hard one. Do you make the video and tell the audience? Well, then what's the point? I just wasted 5 minutes. I will tell somebody, you know, I got one. It was bad. They sent me a new one. Just understand that nothing's perfect. I will say that in a video, but I won't just put something out there just to bash it. I mean, you know, things are defective. You know, I get recalls on my vehicle all the time. Like stuff happens, right? So, but when they say to you, hey, 5-star review and you can keep the $1,500 thermal scope, it's like, you know, where do you draw the line? Do you swallow your pride and you know, and take it, or do you?
YouTubers, they'll sell their mom for $5.
Oh,
I'm pretty pricey. But yeah, I've gotten those too, and you know, it's good though if you get something that's defective, and then you get a better one and you explain it. You're transparent with your audience, or I've done stuff where I've gotten something for free and then I bought it under my real name. Like that, you know, the emails all go to Squib1911, so they call me Squib and everything else like that. And I buy one, and then I've like, you know, compared my experience, either, you know, getting it. Because if you get one for free and they overnight it to you and you get all this free crap in there and all that, that's one thing, right? What are you supposed to say? But if you buy one yourself and you go, it came in the same packaging, it came in about the same amount of time, you know, that sort of thing. And you can talk about your experience. Or if you have something break, do the honor to warranty. Dude, I did the Leatherman warranty video on one of my B channels, and that's one of the most popular videos there. Yeah. You know, a lot of people have these things. They have a 25-year warranty. Well, you know, if it's more than 25 years old, more than likely they'll take care of you. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them. I can't say for sure, but I mean, you know,
they'll make it. My experience was the exact same. You know, now if I had a vintage Leatherman and I wanted it repaired and sent back to me, say it's a collectible or it's a model they don't make anymore. The one thing is they will. So what Leatherman does is and we might as well talk about it because it's an essential piece of hiking gear, a Leatherman pocket tool. If you break it and contact them, what they told me is they said, we're going to send you an envelope that's already got postage paid. When you get it, just drop the pocket tool in and send it back. We just want your name. We want your address. We want your email. And then that way we're expecting you to send it back. In the good faith, you're going to send it back to us. I'm like, well, it's broken. I can't use it anyway. I had one of my tools broke on the pocket tool itself. And they just said, I said, can you send me the piece on repair? She goes, no, we'll send you a brand new one. I was like, okay. And she goes, we'll send you the envelope with the new one. You put the old one back and drop it in the mail, and we'll let you know when we got it. I'm like, okay. So I got a brand new, I think it was a Wave or a Wingman, one of the two. Whatever has the plastic cutting tool that's in it, they use to cut open bubble packaging. That broke off when I was cutting some real heavy plastic because they said, we want to analyze the part and see why it failed. And I'm like, well, I'll send that back to you. That's fine. I sent a little chunk with it also. And they took care of me. I didn't have to have a receipt. I didn't have to mention where I bought it from. And that, I mean, that kind of stuff right there, that's the kind of thing to think about when you're buying hiking gear. Look into the warranty. You know, can you take it back after 30 days? You know, do you have to have the tags? Because you can drop a lot of change on a lot of the gear that we're about to talk about today.
And that's a lot of good, important information to share with your audience when you're doing an objective review video.
Yeah.
It broke, but it's got a warranty. I shipped it in. It took this long. It was 1 email. It was 2 emails. Or it was 16 emails over 3 months. They sat on it. I made this video a year ago, and I'm just now getting it back. You can, and if with hiking, yes, gear is very essential. So sometimes just watching a gear review will help you with some of your hiking decisions. But if that person talks about their experience having to deal with a warranty, or they got something in defective, or they got the wrong thing, or whatever, that gives you a good idea. And if the company tries to make it right, then I think that's good. When I did the thing about the Thunder on the Prairie stickers, I wasn't trying to bust, your channel or anything else. I thought it was funny that I ended up getting this stuff for free, right?
Yeah.
But it's just sharing your experiences like that can help people make decisions. However, I say it in some of my coffee reviews or some of my other videos. Individual results may vary. You and I might have had a terrible experience with a company, and then somebody else is out there in the comment section going, "They've done nothing but right by me." Okay,
Yeah. And that's also bad if they don't have consistent customer service. That can be an issue too. I hear about that for certain brands of uppers where people have said, "Well, you just got that wonderful customer service because you're the YouTuber." I said, "No, I bought it and I called them and I didn't tell them." I very rarely ever pull my weight saying, "Well, I've got a YouTube channel." I don't think I've ever said that before. Well, I got a channel and I don't want to have to go public with this. I've never actually had to pull that out of my arsenal before. I've simply gone through the routes of returning stuff and I've had acceptable service. So, real quick, hey, Black Cat, are you back with us, buddy? You got your audio back now?
I think so.
There you go. All right. Dude, it's been a while. How you been doing? Are you good?
Oh, yeah, just working and stuff. I thought it was a good one to hop back in on because that's kind of the last couple of videos I did have been more hiking, even though I haven't put anything. That's not true. I have some shorts out shooting videos, but I haven't done like a review video or anything in a long time. So,
but you got a lot of good camping and outdoors videos on your channel. So guys, get over to Black Hat Outdoors and get over there and subscribe because you will see some neat actual use, from a non-sponsored channel, right? I mean, you get out there and really put it out in the wilderness,
I could actually, I could use some views on those. That's usually the videos that don't do really well. Or the ones I do of hikes.
Yeah, and I'm going to be posting some hiking videos here. In fact, with what I got coming up here, I may just make a video on it, just kind of talk about the gear that I'm going to be wearing and show off some of the places I'm going to. And then I'm going to, later on, before we go today, I'm going to show you a really cool free website where you punch in your zip code, and it will show you nearest to furthest all the hiking trails, the popular hiking trails that the users on the website have listed as places to go check out. And they give them ratings, and a lot of this stuff is free. A big part of this for me is just trying to spend more time in the outdoors. Another part of it is fitness, just getting out and doing more. I spend a lot of time in front of a screen with my daily job, and I like to get out and live a little and get some fresh air and some sunlight. Not that I don't do that with my job, but physically it takes a toll on you. And I think it's good to get out. It's just, and it's a need to discover a lot of the places and the things that you have in your state that you didn't realize were there, especially if you don't ever leave the town you live in, if you don't ever just go hit a trail and just go check out what's there, Yeah.
So Travis, when we came out there in 2017 and
to Nebraska, just so people know where I'm at.
Yeah. And for the solar eclipse, we were going out to Scottsbluff, and on the way out, we drove past Chimney Rock, and I'm like, I've seen this somewhere before, and I Googled it and looked it up, and I said, I'm coming back, and I'm going to hike around this thing. And then it was it last year, the year before, I went and hiked around it. Right. It took years before I got, because I was there with my son, and I had kind of had a timetable. We didn't have time to do that. And I came back and I hiked it, so even if you don't know about something, you might pass a point of interest or drive past a sign that says, such as a state park. And you're like, and then you can just go look it up and find out that, hey, this is something you can walk, or this is a landmark, or the historical significance of it, or what type of trail is it? Moderate, easy, difficult, whatever it is. Sometimes you can go up a higher elevations, bring some binoculars and see all the way around or something. So, you don't always, know where you're going to end up hiking, but sometimes on one trip you start making plans for the next trip,
And then your shins discover things like, wait a minute, Nebraska has desert cactuses? I thought this was a Sergio Leone movie set, all right?
Yes.
It's like, wait a minute, what was that, a Roadrunner? What was, this is Nebraska. This is Little House on the Prairie. It's supposed to be pastures and cattle looking back at you as they, So Real quick, let's give a shout out on the YouTube side. Then we'll call an AWAG here first, and we'll kind of do some roundtable stuff. So Squibload's out there. Squibby's over here. Firefighter said that he would join us, but he had some stuff done in his mouth, so he's not able to chat today. And that's fine, Firefighter. We'll get you back here in a couple weeks. Kevin Jung is out there. Tommy Gunn's joining us from the land up north. Defense Dad's in the house. My mom, Kim Williams, is out there. It's going to be a great weekend. Georgia Trucker 69's out there. Keith Gregory's watching. Kendrick 98, 500 Magnum. Bjorn's in the house. Good morning, Bjorn. M. Gabriel's joining us. Blue Steel 44. The Kingpin is out there. Squibload's doppelganger Squib Lift is out there today too. And then there's me. So so we'll go ahead and just kind of start this up a little bit. So AWAG, do you do much hiking? You live in an area where I'd imagine there's lots of outdoor splendor and beauty, right? We're not going to say what state you're in, but you live in a location where there's lots. The outdoors offers a lot, right?
Yeah. So I can totally give you information a lot. Since I don't have a lot of time in the mornings, that's probably why I've never been on here that much lately. Yeah. I have a ton of time after work, so I work until 4 o'clock, and then the rest of the day I can have to myself. But I'll happily not really dox myself, but I live in South Carolina right now, and I have access to a national forest, the Francis Marion. That place is so spectacular. I try to at least once a week go to it. And normally I spend, a couple hours, and by a couple I mean minimum 4 there, as much as I can.
Okay.
So I'm out in the woods quite a bit, and it's usually at like nighttime. So
it's very refreshing. You know, we all have very stressful jobs that we work. You know, Black Hat's working right now, and it's just to get away from stuff. Even if you have your phone with you, that's fine. But like just to kind of disconnect for a while, I think it's a good thing. Like you get done, you feel energized, you feel recharged. We're not trying to get all spiritual here. We're just talking about some self-healing, just to get out there. Because you guys, we work our butts off. You guys got families, you got job stress, you got bills. But it's nice to just go somewhere where you don't have to pay. You can just show up and just go at your own leisure, go on your own schedule, take in some of the beautiful outdoors, and then and actually kind of use some of this gear that we promote and talk about and wear all the time. Actually like get out and test some of this stuff and see what really happens. That's kind of fun too, just being YouTube channel, proprietors, So it is kind of cool to get out there. So AWAG, we're all kind of in geographically different areas, which is kind of cool. We kind of cover a huge chunk of the country. So AWAG, I'd imagine weather-wise, you guys probably have decent weather. I mean, I'm sure it gets hot and humid. Like, would it be comfortable for you to hike, say, like September through December, or does December get pretty brutal for you guys there? Because I've never been in the Southeast in the wintertime, so I don't know what it's like. What do you guys get like?
Down here, it doesn't really get colder than like 34 to like 40. It hardly ever has.
You'll hardly ever, because for me, 34 to 40 is that's like hoodie and shorts weather for a Nebraskan. So I would love that. But for people that live down south, that's winter coat weather. So everybody kind of has their own different perception of temperature and stuff.
But in the summertime, it gets so humid, so hot. It's unbelievable. I think right now, hang on, let me check my truck because I'm still in there.
Like in Nebraska, we'll get a couple weeks where it's 90, 60, 70, 80% humidity, and people just, it's unbearable for us because we don't get those kinds of heavy. I don't even enjoy it because there's no wind, there's no breeze. It's not fun. I couldn't imagine months of that, which I've also experienced, say, down in Texas, like in the Dallas area in the summertime, where that's kind of how it is in the mornings, One of my range video that I made for you guys, I was under the overhang. It was 100 degrees out, and the humidity was like 80, 89, 90% with 100 degrees, and the heat index was like 125. And I was actually comfortable because there was a breeze and it had shade, but I couldn't imagine hiking in something like that, So AWAG, what'd you find out? What do you guys have for temperature right now? What is it in your neck of the woods?
I am in the shade right now, and it's 89 degrees, and the humidity is just absurd. It feels like I'm trying to
70 right now. Yeah. So I mean, that I couldn't imagine doing something like that. So I mean, well, and we'll talk about kind of planning for this, like physically what you think you can handle. We don't want somebody to go out there and just die from it, because you really need to kind of pace yourself when you get into the outdoors, especially if you don't do it that often, especially if you're behind a desk all day long. It can take you some time to acclimate to this kind of activity, but we also want you to enjoy it and just get out, which is the whole point behind the discussion. So Black Cat, you're over on the East Coast area, you're in the Pennsylvania area. What do you guys have for climate in the summertime? What do you guys get? Is it fairly dry? Is it humid? What do you guys deal with?
Usually hot and wet.
Okay. A lot of morning
really,
dew, humidity, mist, stuff like that going on. Like, is it what
Yeah,
you guys got high humidity too?
Yeah, this time of year, yeah, it's been especially bad this year. I don't know why, but yeah, it's been. We're usually in the upper 80s in the summer, but the humidity gets up like 90%.
Yeah.
Like usually from the end of July through till the beginning of September is the worst. You get like it's almost daily thunderstorms here going on right now.
Well, that's probably what the humidity is. Just I would say. I mean, in Nebraska, we are 10 times the moisture. I mean, just literally, we're almost at our entire year's worth of moisture in 6 months into this. 8 months into this year, we're already past what we got all of last year for moisture. So I think rain wise, I mean, there's still drought going on in certain areas, but I'd say rain wise, we're definitely that probably just the abundance of moisture. We got stuff growing here in Nebraska I've never seen before. We have vines. I've never seen vines before growing in Nebraska, like the stuff that grows up. I mean, it's like, what is this, So I would say it's probably the abundance of moisture. Yeah.
I'd say the Northeast here is definitely above for the precipitation for the year. Usually you get a couple nice days here and there, but it's been on and off. We went through June like in drought conditions, and then starting in July, it just started dumping. Like
here's the thing. Maybe
I like to kayak too, and I like to kayak too. And I know the one river I kayak near me, usually by the end of mid-July or so, is too low to really kayak. You got to drag your boat through a lot of it. It's been like I just did it like a week and a half ago. I went on a fishing trip. We kayaked like 8 miles of that, and I didn't have to get out once. Like the water levels are so far up, they're almost like spring water levels now.
Oh wow. Yeah, I would say just looking at the Platte River's weird here in Nebraska, but it's definitely up from where we've been in the past. So yeah. All right. And then Squibby, you and I always joke that we basically get the same weather. What I get, you get within 48 hours. So you're in Michigan. What zone? North, south, central part of Michigan? Where approximately are you located at?
Southeast Michigan.
Okay, then what's your weather like in the summertime? You and I probably get the heat and the humidity. Like you get the 80s and 90s going on, right?
Yeah, we'll get the heat and humidity, but we'll have 2 weeks with no rain and then 3 days of rain straight. And,
yes. That sounds like Nebraska. Like and then you can have major seasonal changes in one day too. Like
it'll be 70 one day and 90 the next. And okay, so I'm near the halfway point between the equator and the North Pole. So that's part of the reason.
There's no stability. Everything crosses your path. We're not in an upper zone where it's always cool. We're not in a lower zone where it's always tropical and warm. We're just kind of like the Earth is going to throw at you whatever comes out of Colorado, and you're going to take it.
So so you get the stuff coming off of Colorado, and by the time it gets to me, it picks up some more going across the lake because I'm surrounded by the lakes, right, which are inland seas, and just with all that going on right there, and then throw in some haze from Canada burning down.
Oh yeah, and we had that for about a week. It was awful, man. It smelled like somebody was making s'mores out front for like 7 days of like I felt like I was in front because I've been to a lot of bonfires in my time and campfires, and it's like campfire all day. Now inside the house it's not so bad, but I actually noticed like my eyes were getting itchy from it. I don't really have any respiratory issues, but it's not fun being out and stuff like that. Yeah.
But I really don't do a lot of hiking around here. I'm not saying I haven't gone for a walk in the woods up north or something like that, but I do most of my hiking in the Southwest or just the western part of the country. I prefer the terrain. I prefer just what I can see out here. It's trees. It's trees everywhere. There's trees and lakes and trees and lakes and swamps and trees and lakes and thorns. And
you have legitimate forests. You have woodlands. We've got some weird forests in Nebraska, but yeah. Nothing like what you guys get. A lot of our trees tend to be fairly narrow. We don't have like massive trees, and we don't really get that kind of stuff here. But we do have like state parks. I call them more parks than forests than anything. I'm sure we have state forests by their name designation, but still. So, all right. And then Kevin June says the hiking trails around Austin, Texas, are absolutely beautiful. The only downside: 28 days in a row of 105 plus degree temps. Any tips to stay cool on the trail? So Squib, you're probably or go ahead, AY. Yeah.
So I have this thing that my mom got me, and it is a lifesaver. It's a company called Frog Togs, FROGGTOGGS, and it's called the Chili Pad.
Okay.
It's called the Chili Pad, and it's a cooling towel. You basically soak it with water. Here's what I do: is I soak it with water. I throw it in my freezer, and I put it in my backpack. I put it in a bag, sealed bag, and then I throw it in my backpack. So when I go out on the trail, and there have been many cases where it's like starting to, the sun's starting to go down, and it's still like 102, 103
with
degrees
humidity.
with humidity and no wind whatsoever. It's just terrible. I would put it in the backpack, like closer to the outside of the backpack, so it basically melts all of the now ice. And when you're walking on the trail, when you start to feel hot, you just pull it out of the bag, and then you just kind of either wring it out or just throw it around your neck, depending on how hot it actually is, and it'll actually keep you cool for quite a bit. So that's what I do. Your mileage may vary. I don't know what your terrain is like. If you're out in the sun a lot, wear a large brim hat, kind of like a boonie, or
boonie hat is essential because it'll keep a light color one, preferably maybe some khaki or gray or even white. I don't know if you'd want to do a black one, they're going to absorb a lot of heat, but it does protect like the back of your neck. Plus for the rain, the elements. I wear one when it's really hot out. I put one on. I know I look like Peter Fonda from On Golden Pond, right? Or Henry Fonda, whatever his name was, but it does protect, especially gives you a little bit of sun protection for the back of your neck. Even though I ball cap it like 75% of the time that I'm out. Yeah, you're right. Having the brim all the way around makes a huge difference. Yeah. So yeah, those, and also stay hydrated. And then sometimes it's just not conditions to go out and walk in. You're not a conditioned soldier walking through Afghanistan. So if it's 105 out, man, just don't go. Go early in the morning or go in the evening once it drops maybe into the 80s, because during the day, I hate working out and that stuff, and I can do it for a certain period of time, but I will notice it getting to me after a while. You start to feel kind of woozy, and that's when maybe not even dehydration kicks in, more like minor heat stroke starts to kick in,
Yeah. Now, one thing that I do, especially in the climate that I'm in, and basically the local ecosystem is what's called the low country. So it's at or below sea level. And there's a lot of swamps, so that means a lot of mosquitoes, snakes, other types of creepy crawlies that are out there. I always wear long pants. Always.
We were talking about that. Just like we'll talk pants, but like you don't have to spend $200 on a pair of pants. You can get Wrangler Active Outdoor pants for $35 at Walmart or online. What do you do? Like, what's kind of your go-to for? You just do Army surplus? You get cargo pockets? What's your pants?
So mine's not necessarily Army surplus, but yes, Army surplus can be fine if you don't mind camo. I typically go with one of two pants. It's a company called Cool, KUHL.
Yeah. They sell them at Shields.
They're a little on the expensive side, but they're well worth it. That's for if I really
fishing gear, don't they? That or fishing apparel. Like I think that's I think that no, that's not cool. I'm thinking of something else. But no, you're right.
That's cool.
Right. Yeah.
But Cool, they make some really good pants. I typically wear my Cry G3 field pants. Now these are very expensive pants. I think they're like $300. But I can't tell you how many times that these pants have come in handy, in the fact that like if you're walking through like woodland, which is mostly what the low country is, very pine tree rich, you're gonna have undergrowth too that's very hostile, if you will. They have like thorns and little like sharp objects on them. If you get yourself a pair of really good pants, they're not going to tear. Like the Cry G3s, they're made out of a ripstop material. And I can't tell you how many times that something has gotten snagged on it, but then it just pops right out, and it doesn't tear the fabric at all. And also, the Cry field pants also have pockets on the front of your thighs. They have giant cargo pockets on your left and your right of your thigh, and they also have a little pouch all the way down, like at your shin level, so you can have like a little. I don't know. I always put like cash in there because then that's you can roll your just in case.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
And they also have an insert for those large pouches on the sides of your thigh pockets, that you can put like a flashlight or a pen or something. And they have at the inseam, basically where your two legs come together, it has a separate like spot there so that you can have more mobility than say like a pair of jeans.
They have like an extra panel that's sewn in there, so you're not just like bound together at one sewing point. Because I've blown out pants before. I'm a big guy, all right? It doesn't take much for me to split my britches, right? But to have some actual active pants that have a little extra mobility, just for anybody, men or women, it doesn't matter. It's a good idea to have that extra space if you're going to be going up rocks or climbing or doing any kind of like incline. You're going to be stretching your pants more and angles. You normally don't when you're shopping at Walmart, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Outcast is and here's the point we want to make about the gear. Let's just get this out right now. So Outcast says pants priced like that are a bit much for the average hiker IMO. Yeah. So start off with whatever you can afford. Like we said, Wrangler makes an active outdoor pant that will give you good protection for $33 a pair. So again, any of this gear we're about to talk about, you can spend whatever you want. Your credit card is the limit for when it comes to buying boots or pants or socks. I mean, there's stuff I'll go into stores. I can barely afford the socks that the stores carry. All right. So yeah, we'll start talking gear here in a little bit and price, but no, we hear you. We hear you, Outcast. We're not saying anybody should go out and buy
everything is a bit much for him. Everything is expensive. So don't listen. Don't take advice from him on how to spend your money.
So here's the thing too, is I'm also out, like I go out in the woods for multiple hours. So I think the longest journey I did was, I want to say 15 or 16 hours. And I did well over 40 miles.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. Yeah. So I was moving quite a bit. And, and I go out in the woods like once a week. So spending $300 on a pair of pants that are going to last me, I've had these pants for goodness since 2019. So they've lasted me quite a bit. I only have one big tear in it, and that's my own fault. But it's, if you're gonna buy a pair of pants and you're only gonna go out in the woods like once, then yeah, go for something that's inexpensive.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna be out there all the time, every time, it's better to buy once, cry once.
No, I agree totally. It just depends on what you're applicating. If you're just experimenting, maybe even just for just like a pair of like, if you got some like relaxed fit, khakis or whatever, just go with something, or even just to do jeans if you have to the first time, just to see what, and you're going to discover quick what's comfortable and what's not comfortable and where you should be making some changes. It doesn't take long once you actually get out there in the elements. You're like, wow, this shirt's really warm. I should have worn something a little bit different, or, whatever. So Black Cat, let me ask you a question. Black Cat, when you plan your hikes and stuff, what do you take into consideration? Do you pay attention to the weather, the distance, the time of the year? What fuels your loadout when it comes to hiking? And I'm going to ask you guys all this question. Yeah.
I take the weather into account, a lot of it. If it's going to rain, obviously I'm going to throw rain gear in there. It depends on the type of hike I'm doing. If I'm just doing a day hike around, like, to go see a waterfall or something, I'll probably pack a little differently than if I'm doing a backpacking trip where I'm going to spend 3 days in the woods. It's going to be a little bit different. The basic gear that I'm going to wear is going to be the same, but some of the extra stuff I'll bring along might change,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the weather and whatever terrain. Like in PA, you can go from fairly flat to, if you're on like one of the major trails we have the Appalachian Trail runs through here, Mid-State Trail runs the whole thing. Some of those trails are graded really nicely, and others you might be rock scrambling up, a mile of trail at a time. So
yeah,
if I'm gonna be doing something like that, it'll probably change like what kind of boots I'm gonna wear that day.
Yeah, and definitely investigate the terrain. Try to get some information either on the camping, like the state parks website, or maybe reviews that people have posted. Yeah.
If you want some recommendations, I use Fornex Backcountry as one of the apps I use, and I use an app called Gaia GPS. Both of those you can download basically topographic maps with overlays on them. Gaia GPS will work for free offline. So as long as you start your route while you still have service, it'll keep that map downloaded offline for you. As long as you keep that app open in the background, you can go back and forth. OneX, to get the offline version, you have to pay for that, but it's I think it's like $30 or $40 a year, and that offers you layers for like if you're planning a hunting trip or a fishing trip, because it will show you like private versus state ground.
Oh wow!
Things like that. It'll show you like the boundaries for that. So they're two really good apps. And then I usually bring a backup paper map, but those are the two things I use to plan my routes pretty much. I mean, you can use planning tools on there. So if you open it up and go to an area, it'll show you all the trails through that area, and you can kind of map out your own route how you want to go through there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
AWAG,
what about you? When you plan a trip, what do you go ahead, AWAG? What do you take into consideration when you go? Yeah.
So since the weather changes so rapidly here in South Carolina, especially the Low Country, I always pack for rain gear because literally the rain will show up. It's a little wild. Now, with that being said, I also give a +1 to that Gaia GPS. That's what I use mostly, and I only use that for like infographs, like how many how many miles I've walked, what my average pace was, what the elevation change was, and just like little nerdy stuff like that. I always try to plan out my route beforehand on like Google Earth, and I go through there. But I always bring basically a spare wardrobe with me. That's socks, underwear, maybe a pair of pants if the rain is going to be like heavy, and definitely a new shirt and a hat occasionally. Now, one thing that is I would say we should actually look at first, because a lot of people that don't have experience with hiking and they want to go do like a couple miles of hiking is your feet. Your shoes. Your shoes are
we're gonna go into boots here in just a sec. Yeah, we're gonna start off with boots. We're actually gonna go bottom to the top. So because that's boots and pants are like two areas. Yeah.
Those are your most important areas for a hike.
Absolutely. All right. And Squibby, what about you? When it comes to planning these trips, when you're taking your family with, what are you taking into consideration, Squib? When it comes to like, do you look at the weather? Do you actually read some reviews on the trails to see what kind of terrain you're going to be going over? What kind of fuels what you do? You might have jumped off to get another cup of coffee. We'll come back to him here in a second. So, and yeah, as for me, obviously I look at the weather. I will look at where I'm going. I'll look at the website for the trail to see if they mention if it's a rugged trail or semi-rugged. Is it grass? Is it packed rock? And that does have a huge influence over what I'm going to take for the day. But as for weather, yeah, we'll talk gear and clothes and stuff like that. What we take, yeah, we'll definitely have that discussion. So let's go and talk about, let's just start off with boots, man. We'll start off with boots and then we'll get into socks here. So AWAG, when it comes to boots, did you decide to go big or go home and get an expensive pair of boots, or did you start off with something fairly inexpensive? Because I'll show you guys what I use, but what works for you? What do you like to do?
So I have 3 pairs of shoes, and I'm actually testing out a pair of boots right now. So if I'm going on marked trails only, like just anything that is, that's already cut, that's already taken care of, you're not going off the beaten path per se. I wear a set of Ultima Maritime Assault shoes. They're basically like tactical, what are they? They're not Converse, they're Chuck Taylor. But they're they're not that expensive. You can, they're running sales, you can pick up a pair of those for like $50.
Okay.
I have I think I put a couple 100 miles on my Ultimas. Now if I'm going, something that's a little more aggressive terrain, then I'm gonna be wearing either here, let me go grab them real quick.
Yeah.
They are a pair of LL Bean, where I forget what model this is. The tongue has worn off, so I don't have the model. But they have definitely lasted me a ton of miles.
Okay.
And this
Are they
model that I have in my
shoe or hiking boot? What are they?
here, let's see if I can get a camera going
Okay.
here.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's see what you got here.
All right. So we got a set of these LL Bean hiking shoes. You can see that they're probably like well like worn in and dirty and disgusting. But these are the Tech 25 waterproof boots. So
Okay, so LL Bean's a company to consider. And I'll show you guys what I use here once we get through everybody else. I've got three different pairs of shoes and boots here that I'll show you guys also. Yeah.
I was gonna say the boots that I'm testing out right now. Sadly, my workplace needs a safety shoe.
Yeah.
But if you want a if you want a dual purpose safety shoe, I think I'd probably only put like 50 miles on these boots. I'm a nerd, so I'll like write down how many miles I walk, and I'll like log all of it. So
Keep track
probably about 50 miles.
Yeah.
These ones that I'm wearing are the Ultima Raptor safety shoe, the safety boot, and these are in the coyote color.
Okay.
They're about $150, but they have a steel toe in them, and
Yeah,
they're actually pretty comfortable.
Cool.
Now, one thing when it comes to boots is please do yourself a favor, buy yourself a set of nice boots, and then go break them in. Go for a walk around the mall. Go, just a stroll around the the neighborhood. Go on, just use them in daily life for like a couple days before your hike, and you will save yourself a ton of headache.
Oh, I agree totally. I agree completely. Yeah, I mean, and if you've got like a trail hiking shoe and you're able to do so, like a treadmill it, or just do some long walks and make sure they're not going to give you blisters, because you don't want to get halfway out there and then have just your feet, All right, so Squib, what about you when it comes to footwear? You've done boot reviews before. Good, the bad, and the ugly. What's your go-to boot? What works for you? And we're just showing people that you don't have to spend, $500 or $600 on a pair of boots if you don't want to. You can, but what works for you? What's kind of your choice of boot?
Probably my two favorite companies right now are Belleville Boot and Thorogood. They offer a lot of boots that are either military issue or along those lines. And for me, those boots work. Now, I was wearing military boots before I enlisted, and I'm a big fan of military boots. I mean, I would have my closet lined with them all the way around if I had it my way.
Occasion, for every
Kinda,
social outing,
Yeah. And I've bought some of the imports, but most of the boots I've had throughout my life have been American made. If you take good care of your boots, they'll take care of you. Certain boots you can do maintenance on, certain boots you can't. I mean, I used to polish my leather boots and stuff like that. Nowadays it's all suede. It's all the desert kind of boots, which I prefer. Those are my favorite.
They breathe better.
A lot less maintenance. You can condition them some, but all I really do is just put some waterproofing on them. It comes down to insoles and socks. If you change out your insoles about every 90 days, get a decent pair of insoles. You can spend between probably $13 and $40 for a pair of insoles. They'll save your feet. They really will. As far as what AWAG was talking about, walking around, breaking them in, yeah. When I was younger, I would take a brand new pair of boots and I'd go run 3 miles in them, and that would break them in that evening. Now that I'm older, no, I'll go take the dog for a walk. I'll do things like that to kind of break them in some. But I the same boots that I hunt with, I hike with, I also wear every day at work.
That's like the ultimate of knowing, how footwear is going to perform for you. Because if you can wear it all day at work and you're on your feet all day at work, you're going to have no trouble with the hike. I mean, as long as the soles have some good cleats on them and decent traction, yeah.
I've got to have safety shoes. So I get steel-toed or composite toe. Some people don't want to spring the money for that. I'm telling you what, when you're hiking, you go bump a rock and you don't have a steel toe. The thing is, if you wear steel toes at work and then your hiking boots are different, And at work, you can bump something or kick something and you're good, right? And then you go to kick that rock and forget that you don't have your steel toes on. It ain't going to feel good.
Yeah.
A reinforced shank is helpful too for
Yeah.
punctures and things like that. So I would recommend getting safety shoes for hiking. Now, not the ones that are designed to be out on the shop floor for looks, but actually something that's functional with a decent tread. And
you
that
can
sort
get
of
a
thing.
hiking style boot that has a steel toe in it, or
Yes.
like a composite toe or
Yeah.
whatnot. You can
That's
or a plastic.
just like
Yeah, you don't have to get
That's what
something
I
that's
have.
like the the Chukkas or whatever. Yeah.
now.
Oh man.
Another thing to take into consideration is if you're out in like the mountains, like Pennsylvania is kind of in the mountains, so especially that outside of Philadelphia-ish area, it's very mountainous. I don't know what the rest of Pennsylvania is like, so that's my only little like idea of
Even more,
Pennsylvania.
it gets worse the further north and west you go.
Okay, but if you're on severe up and downs, and you have various elevation, like really aggressive elevation changes, definitely get a hiking boot that has, it goes like almost up your shin more or less, because you want to have that ankle protection.
support.
Because
Yeah.
I went on a hike with my Ultima Maritime Assaults, and my buddy is just like, hey, you might want to have something that rides up a little higher. It was really hot that day, so I didn't want to take out the LL Beans because they're more of a winter shoe, the one that I have, and they would just bake my feet. So I did my Maritime Assaults, and I'm like, I'll be fine. And it was like pretty rocky, and my foot slipped off, and I rolled my ankle, and I was not a happy camper.
Yeah, you're gonna want some decent. I know I'm gonna be looking into some different hiking boots as we go into fall, because right now what I've got is just like a 3/4 height, and they give you some support, but not much. But I definitely need to go with something a little more stout, I think. So yeah, I definitely hear you on something like that. Yeah. And again, well, what you wear for boots is really going to depend on what kind of conditions you're going to be in. What you're used to.
Yeah, and I'm actually really impressed so far with these Ultima Raptor safety boots, because they're the tread isn't super aggressive, but I've definitely gone out on a walk so far out to a local like little park here that has some up and down elevation changes, and it's done pretty well for a safety shoe. It doesn't rub anywhere, because that's the one problem that I've been having with safety shoes, is they rub the toes where the either the composite or steel toe is.
Yeah.
These ones are actually really comfortable. Again, these are the Ultima Raptor.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. I'm seeing $125 over on tacticalgear.com. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how much I paid for mine.
They've got a nice like mesh upper, so they're going to breathe a little bit, but they're also got
they
right
actually
reinforcements. Yeah,
they breathe really well. I'm actually quite surprised. I think that's one of the Ultima's I guess MOs is a shoe that breathes very well.
Yeah, I might have to look into a pair of those. Those seem pretty. How about like size wise? Do they run true to size, or do you normally have to go with a different width, or what?
I went up a half size, because normally I run a 10.5, and I just wanted to give myself a little bit extra room, especially knowing that there's a steel toe in there. So I went with an 11.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
But Ultimas, the Maritime Assaults, you'll also want to run maybe a half size up, because unless you get their wide version is for like those really wide feet. Definitely run up a half size, because they kind of squeeze your feet. They're made to be, the Maritime Assaults are made to be like as close to form of your foot as possible.
Mm-hmm. Razor JB says, I wore New Balance sneakers for 2 deployments in Afghanistan, outlasted any boots we had. So does New Balance make sneaker style boots too that are allowed to be worn for duty and stuff? I think Nike does and Oakley does, right? Yeah.
I don't know about these kids today. They're wearing tennis shoes into combat.
I have no idea.
CrossFit, baby. CrossFit, So Black Cat, we're going to come back to you now on this one. Talk to us about your boot selection. What do you got? What's your go-to? What do you like? What do you dislike? Do you not? Do you not boot? What do you do?
I'm about to piss off Squib because I'm not a kid, and I'm a trail runner guy. I wear trail runners almost exclusively.
Wait till you see the ones I got. You'd be like, okay, those are sweet. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. It's I wear Ultra Lone Peaks. They're my go-to for trail runners. If you want to Google Ultra, they make a lot of like running shoes, but they're basically it's a high top sneaker with hiking tread on the bottom of it.
Okay.
That's what I wear 90% of the time. Winter hiking's different. I will wear like a full boot in the wintertime usually. But the big thing I find with those is they are half the weight of any boots that I own. So I'm knocking like a pound and a half off of my feet, which saves my old ass knees going up and down mountains.
Well, even inexpensive hiking shoes or camping shoes, I'm going to show you guys versus something that's more like trail made, like from Nike. It's amazing the difference. And it might not even, I mean, durability could be a factor, but still.
Those are not cheap. Those are not cheap trail runners that I just said. They run, sometimes you can find them on sale, but I think the Lone Peak 7s are out now. They're like about $140, I think.
Okay.
So
what brand do you wear?
Cheap.
Which ones do you wear?
They're Ultra ALTRA. I'm wearing the Lone Peaks right now. They're called.
Okay.
It's a Ultra Lone Peak Mid is what you want to, if you're Googling it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But I say they're super comfortable. I will agree with. I think it was Swift said, get good insoles. Even they come with a little bit of an insole in them. I buy Superfeed insoles, which are a little on the more expensive side, but they really help with your feet, and they help. What I find is they help lock in your heel in the back, because if your heel doesn't fit right in the back, then they slide, and that's where you'll get your blisters from a lot of times.
Yeah, lack of stability too, and things like that. So
So like if you're trying on boots to take out hiking, you want to really concern yourself with the way your heel fits in there. And if you use an insole, maybe it'll help push it back, get your heel back in, because you really do not want that heel to move.
Oh, I agree. I agree, dude.
Tight back there.
That's the insoles, and also make sure when you're looking into boots, do they have removable insoles? Because sometimes they glue them in or they're sewed in, and they're part of the design, and you can't take them out. So, removable insoles, definitely something to look into, because if you need ortholic inserts or you just want to swap them out for some Dr. Scholl's, something foam to give you something like maybe give you a little more just cushion on your feet. Yeah, because I mean, the pair that I have, those are trails that I have, they're fine, but they really could use a different insole and I think I could take them out. They're just not, I haven't changed mine out since I bought them, but I'll show you guys here in a little bit. Defense Dad says, I obviously don't hike, but I wear the same shoes 8 to 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm on my feet all day. I get about a year and a half out of a single pair of Keens, because he was mentioning Keens earlier. There's a couple of reasons why I like Keen over Merrell. And if you're a Merrell shoe fan, that's fine. But Keens, it seems like Keen quality has been consistent for like the last 15 or 20 years that I've known of the brand. I don't know how long Keen has been around, but they seem to be very durable. They offer different widths, different styles, different applications, waterproof, ones that breathe a little bit more, a few different styles. You're going to pay for them, but a year and a half of the kind of use that Defense Dad's talking about, that's money well spent versus having to drop $50 or $60 every 3 or 4 months because your shoes wear out. So having something durable that's built well, that's comfortable, definitely consider Keens. If you look around online, like many times, like our Shields will price match Amazon. So if you find them online and they're on sale, they're the same stock number and color, like Shields will price match generally if it's within a certain range. And so you can get them locally too, because sometimes you can get these Keens for like half the price of what your local store is asking for them. So that'd definitely be a brand to consider. If you want like something, you want to kind of step up with something good, do consider that. So Razor JB said for boots, they had Oakley's, Merrell, Belleville, Osala's, Iowa, Solomon's, Adidas. Yeah, I mean, like every company that makes shoes, that's a serious shoe company, makes some sort of a tactical boot that you can get. And then you've got the whole tactical boot industry that's its own thing altogether. Tony had mentioned something about New Balance, right? I ain't a kid and all my hunting is done in New Balance. Well, man, New Balance are really, really comfortable because the width is usually set for your feet, different size options and stuff. So let's see here. And then we'll go ahead and just talk about me real quick. Oh, so Razor JB, let's talk about this for a second. Merrell Chameleons. Okay. I had a pair, like I've had 2 or 3 pairs of them, 3 pairs. He says they're the ultimate all-time favorite shoe made by Merrell. They're kind of a hiking style camping shoe, right? Outdoorsy shoe. Solomon's don't last at all since new ownership. The sole rubber and glue is different now. I feel that Merrell's quality has gone down a little bit. Like when I look at the Chameleons now that I had 10 years ago, Like, obviously the design is going to change a little bit, but the way the outsoles are made, I mean, maybe you still have good luck with them, but the most recent pair of Chameleons that I bought, they were not as comfortable as the previous 2 pairs. So I don't know if they changed ownership too, or if they're cheapening out their materials. They're Vibram outsoles, which is kind of a standard that many shoe companies use. And I love Chameleons. Don't get me wrong. They're awesome, but the last pair I bought, maybe it was me, maybe it was my feet, but they just don't seem to don't last very long. So New York Outcast says Merrell Moabs are pretty good. I've got 3 or 4 pairs. Well, Outcast, I have the Walmart version of the Merrell Moab. I'm going to show you guys here in a little bit. And they're $40 and they're very, very close. So just to show you guys, like, I'm not into real expensive boots, but I would like to get something nice. These are waterproof Ozark Trail boots I bought close to 10 years ago at Walmart. They've had a lot of use. I've used them in 4 seasons of weather. Soles are getting pretty worn down on them. They're heavy, but they're not clunky. They lock your feet in well. These were $40. These would be a nice kind of starter boot. You know, they're not steel toe, but they are leather. And again, just something to consider. I do need to put some new insoles in these things. And so just start off with something basic. The idea is to just get outdoors. And then if you're really into it, you know, if you want to go up the price point and try something a little more serious, you can do that. Now, for me, for hiking shoes on the low end of the spectrum here, we've got the Walmart version of the Merrell Moabs. These are the Ozark Trails, and I did a video on these. These are also waterproof. I've gotten water up to basically the top, and they have not soaked through. So whatever they use, kind of a multi-layer membrane system to keep your feet dry. So for $40, you don't have an excuse to not go out and go hiking. I think they might do a boot version of this also. They've got kind of a multi-layer insole. Now, I'm going to be honest. These are glued in though, so you can't change out the insole. So definitely wear them around the store a little bit before you buy them. But these have held up really well. These are just for walking the dog because it's so wet in the mornings. We go through a lot of grass. I hate getting my socks wet. And so these have come in really handy. So low end of the spectrum, these are heavy. These are almost 16 ounces a piece. Now, on the high end of the spectrum, we have a Nike outlet store that's 35 miles from where I live. And these are the Nike Trail Pegasus 4. So these are an actual trail hiker, trail running shoe. They haven't even been used yet. And the reason why is because I got a pair of Skechers that I've just about worn out. And these are going to get broken in a few weeks. Now, I got these for $90, actually $85 with the discount at the outlet store that I bought them in. They're not refurbs. They're brand new. If you buy these from Nike, they're $160. They're not even the Gore-Tex model. You can spend $220 and get Gore-Tex, which will keep your feet dry. These are designed to breathe. These are designed to keep your feet cool and comfortable. So when fall and winter comes around, I'm probably not going to be rocking these. I'll probably go to the new pair of Skechers Trails that I bought from Sam's Club, I did a video on those too. The problem with those is that the outsoles will wear down quick on concrete. Within a couple months, they'll be flat in the front. So they're like just a trail shoe only, but those are waterproof. So if you want to spend the money and you think this is something you're going to get into, you know, get something that's actually made for the kind of conditions, because it would suck to just throw your sneakers on, go hiking and realize I picked the wrong footwear for this. All right. So that's something to consider. All right. Now let's go ahead and step it up here. Let's step it up for a sec. Squibload. Let's talk socks because I'm a Hanes sock guy. You need to convince me that I should maybe be wearing some different socks for serious hiking. You do merino wool. What's been your experience with socks, Squib? Because you've done some pretty good long-term testing that I've not seen on other YouTube channels. What have you done?
Buy whatever socks you want, man.
Oh, I think you got to pull your mic down, bud, on your headset. There you go. So do you prefer wool over like a poly blend, like a Hanes cotton sock or something? What works best for you? Does it really matter or not? What have you noticed?
I mean, we got people in the live chat over there talking about hiking and tennis shoes. So does it really matter what kind of socks you have? Look, I remember wool socks. When I was in the military, they were wool socks. They would shrink up. They were itchy. And they didn't really help your feet on a long hump. They really didn't. What we would do is we'd either take cotton athletic socks and put them on and then put our wool green or black socks. Yeah, green socks is what we had when I joined. They switched over to black later on.
Spec socks just for you.
Yeah. And we would put them on because you can't be wearing
cotton
like
socks,
store-bought cotton socks in your uniform. But if you can wear them under, right? Or we would put on our black dress socks. Those were issue. underneath. Those really worked well. You put on dress socks and then you put on your regular wool or cotton socks.
Oh, it's kind of a protective
long
layer.
hump.
Yeah,
That would make a bit. An officer told me that, and I tried it and it worked. But we would do that, and then we'd put our military issue wool socks over top, and that would help. But if we just went with wool socks, whether you were on the flight deck all day or you were out, up and down the mountains of California, that stuff just killed your feet. Now, another thing I would do is I would buy insoles. I'd buy these disposable, like foam insoles. They were like
Dr.
$1
Scholl's or whatever,
No,
Yeah,
I bought the AFES brand. I bought the AFES. AFES stands for Army Air Force Exchange Service, and they were camouflaged on the top and white on the bottom. And I would put these in there. Sometimes I'd double them up, and those would help. It was later that I started buying nicer insoles that would last months. But just little things like that to protect our feet, to make them more comfortable, because if you can keep your feet from getting sore, you can stay on them a lot longer. It makes a big difference. And staying on a steel flight deck or standing on a concrete shop floor can wear on your feet just as much as hiking up and down the mountains. But as far as after that, I never went back to wool socks. I just went with cotton socks, and I would throw them away. Now, at one point, I started buying my socks at the Red Wing boot store. These are American-made, white, cotton, tube, athletic socks, and they had a lifetime warranty. So every time I brought them with a hole, they'd give me a new pair, right? So those were pretty good, but eventually they stopped. The guy stopped honoring the warranty because I'd just wear them out. And I found some Dan Post white athletic socks at the Boot Barn in Las Vegas, Nevada, and that started being my go-to sock. When I would go there on vacation, I'd buy a couple packs of these things, and that was my go-to sock.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching one of my friend's videos, and there was this commercial that came on before it for Grip 6. I never heard of this funny
the belt company
name.
Initially, right? Belts.
Grip 6 stands for the wallet. He made the wallet first.
I can't remember the core Grip 6. Any of these companies.
It Grip 6 credit cards or cards, driver's license, credit card, whatever. And then he made the belt, and then he made the socks and that sort of thing. And I decided to get a couple of their belts, and I happened to be taking a road trip out west, and I decided to stop by the factory, and they're like, "You got to try our socks." I'm like, "All right, but they're wool." And they're, no, it's not
they're
wool.
Merino wool.
Yeah,
right?
It's not the military issue wool. They don't shrink. They don't, all this stuff. So I tried their socks, and they were comfortable. They were, but I just wore them out. Now they honored the warranty, but I tried and tried and tried, and these things, I would just wear these things out. Now somebody else might not wear these socks out, but I had people say, "You trim your toenails, you nasty, what," and all this. It's like, no, it wasn't. I wore it. So I decided, all right, these are merino wool. They got a lifetime warranty. Let's look around. And I ended up trying out a bunch of different socks, cotton and wool. And the brand I ended up going with, I like Grip 6's wallet. I like their belts. Their socks are not uncomfortable, and they will honor warranty. But in my experience, it just don't last.
Yeah.
Darn Tough socks lasted the longest out of all the socks that I've tested out, cotton or merino wool. And
so Darn Tough brand.
They're made in America. Okay. They have a lifetime warranty. No hassle about doing returns or the exchange for the warranty, because they give you a credit, and then you can just spend the credit however you want to do it. And they're just as comfortable, but they last a long time. They will wear out. I've had to send in 2 pair of the same sock for warranty exchange, and I've got another one that's got a hole in it near the top, but otherwise it's still good. So I'm just riding that thing out. But there's somebody out there who says, "Oh, they support anti-gun organization." Whatever, dude. All right. Meanwhile, you're there going to the restaurant that does it. You're there buying the shoes from the sweatshop company that does it.
Every umbrella corporation, all these multinational, everything's owned by so many companies, and they don't all have good intentions. I mean, no matter where you buy, you're going to tick off a viewer that's like, "You're a pro 2A. I can't believe you went to REI because they banned blah, blah, blah boots because they're owned by Vista Outdoors." I'm like, you know what, man? I just wanted a Cliff Bar. I didn't care. I was hungry. I just wanted a sticker for my laptop. I wanted a raincoat because I can't get it anywhere else, that fits me. So, When
I choose to boycott, that's my choice. I don't give a, I don't care if you do. I don't. I really don't. You know, I have friends that have Benchmade knives. I'm never going to buy a Benchmade knife, right? And we can, you know, argue all over. I know people that still won't buy Ruger because of what Bill Ruger said to Congress in the 90s, right? That's your
He's
choice.
not on this
That's
planet
America.
anymore, you know.
But
Yeah,
when you want
yeah.
to say, you know, you're not 2A because you whatever, dude. These socks are durable. They're durable. They're comfortable. They work. So I'm actually testing out some other darn tough socks that I bought right now, and I'm going to start testing out alpaca wool socks. Now, the
Ooh.
downside is they don't have a lifetime warranty. So right out of the box, they're already got that going against them. But I got contacted by this company and said, would you try out our socks? And I said, I can't guarantee a good review. So I asked them some questions about the socks, and they answered the questions. They sent them. I haven't started testing them yet. And then I decided to go out and buy some other socks. So at some point, I'm going to try alpaca wool. So I don't know how good that's going to be. But, I mean,
Emperor's New Groove Edition, you know, llama socks, you know.
Well, if you're going to charge $33 for a pair of socks like this company does for merino wool socks, but you don't want to put a lifetime warranty behind them, that already is kind of a detraction.
Yeah.
So I will say this. Do it at your own risk, but some people will say, I just go to Walmart and buy cheap socks. Okay. That same person will say, you can't buy a leather belt at Walmart and EDC with it. I have. So if you
do what works for you, you know,
yeah,
that's
what
the whole
works for you.
That's
If
the whole
you
point
wanna-
behind today's discussion too, is,
if
you know,
you
we're just trying
wanna-
to give you some suggestions. You know,
If you want to hunt in sneakers or hike, I'm going to call it hike, you know, like the camper, they actually show up with a travel trailer. We're camping, dude. You're
glamping,
Yeah, whatever.
You know, you got your generator right next to you, and
Yeah,
you got your.
That's not camping, all right? You're at the campgrounds, but you're at the RV park, whatever. But anyhow, that's just it. If you want to wear sneakers instead of boots, wear sneakers instead of boots. You want to wear cotton instead of wool, wear cotton instead of wool. You want to go to Walmart for everything instead of ordering it online or going to the a place that specializes like a Red Wing boot store or something like that. Go right ahead. If that works for you, that works for you. I tend to try to buy American-made socks, American-made insoles when I can. That's becoming more and more difficult, and definitely American-made footwear. Even though the tennis shoes that I'm doing my test with are not made in America, unfortunately, or the running shoes, because they can't be tennis shoes or sneakers anymore. They've got to be running shoes or hiking shoes or cross trainers, whatever the hell. So really, if you think that wool socks are itchy and nasty, don't listen to that Grip 6 commercial with that guy, that gumpy looking guy. You know, we all know it. Cotton socks are awful. No, dude, whatever.
And they play the same music in the background. They're playing like this orchestra that's like it's like this orchestra song. Like remember the old was the Urban Carry music in the background. It's like this life-changing music in the background. Like they're going to tell you have cancer kind of music, you know? Yeah.
I love the business model for this company. I love the fact that they're trying to make as many things in America with American components, American labor, and American equipment. A lot of the machines in their shop are made in America. I love it. And I do think they make a good product. And you might have a pair of Grip 6 socks that lasted you 3 years, and you're like, what's the problem, dude? But still, if
they're going to use the warranty as a selling point, they need to back it up. If they're going to push the quality as a selling point, because they want to go after your dollar, you're going to pay 2 to 3 times more, because in your mind, you're getting a lifetime guarantee. You're getting a lifetime product. But then you wear them out in a couple months. It's like, well, this was no better than my Walmart Hanes socks that'll last me a year.
Except that I can get a new pair for free. Well, you have to pay shipping, but still, what you do is you just let them stack up, and then you ship them 4 socks at once.
That's actually not a bad idea.
So the thing is, though, it's the same person that buys the $30 multi-tool and goes, "Why would you spend $100 on a Leatherman?" I'm like, seriously. So we all look at this differently. Some people, it's all about price, and that's all they care about, and that's the life they're going to live. And for other people, it's about quality. And sometimes you can get quality for a low price. You really can.
You just have to look around for it.
Other times it's expensive. I don't buy $500 boots, but if somebody wants to, go right ahead, right? But I usually spend about $250 to $350 for a pair of boots. I every now and then I'll find some on clearance that are decent. Like I was looking at some here that are $100. I've worn similar boots. They're American made and everything else. I think I might buy them and try them out. But sometimes you can get them that way. And other people like, I would never even pay $100 for a pair. Dude, do what you want. But if you're put off by wool socks because of your experience in the military 30 plus years ago, or wool has just always been something itchy, try out some merino wool socks. I think you'll find that they're not really that bad. They don't shrink. They're comfortable. Durability, that's whatever. But Yeah, I plan to do some more reviews. It just takes a long time to film this crap and edit it. And stuff, so who knows when it'll come out.
No,
And
that's fine.
somebody gets something off of that and they're like, okay, this guy wasn't paid by these people. And he works in a blue collar environment, or he hunts, or he hikes, or I'm not trying to be out there walking around the mall in comfortable shoes on carpet going, yeah, look, these socks are durable as crap or whatever.
Yeah. You're trying to give you some good, thorough, battle tested, so to speak.
If you take care of your feet will take care of you.
There you go. Tara Smith's Kitchen. Tara Smith says, I'm very hard on boots and socks. Chemicals took the glue out of my last pair from Boot Barn. They fell apart. Have new steel toes. The heel is too wide in men's boots. Okay. Single shot, real quick. We're just talking hiking today. Do you have any boot recommendations? What's kind of your go-to for the great outdoors? You wear boots out there?
Oh, once in a while I do. I used to wear them all the time in the military, but when I was working for Dexter Shoe, an outfit that
Dexter Shoe Company.
I've heard of them. Maine.
Yeah.
They made a decent hiking boot. It was rugged. It was a very long-lasting type of footwear that you could buy, and I liked them. I was hunting, and it came up just a little above my ankle, so I had a little bit of ankle support, and they were lined so that they were comfortable. So I invested some coin in those things, but it was well worth it. It's like Squibb says, you invest in something that you want to last, you're going to have to shuck out the coin for it.
Here's the thing, guys. These are $40, but these are far from comfortable. I would happily spend double to have something that's not going to leave my feet tired and aching the next day. They work. They're functional to keep me dry, but they're just not ideal. Maybe insoles would fix that, but yeah, I mean, there's times where the price that you pay. Now, you really want to do your research because you might just be paying for the name and the quality's dropped off, or it's just the brand that everybody wears, but they might be trash. You want to definitely do your research before you buy anything. And I like to read the 3-star reviews because that kind of is like the middle of the road people that'll talk about a lot of the pros and cons. The 5 stars are people that really haven't worn them much, or the people that have and they're totally sold on them, or people that are bought and paid reviews. The 4s are I usually do 3-star reviews when I read on a pair of boots before I buy them. So it's going to be hard for me to decide what I want to go with because, when we go into winter, do I want something that's going to have winter capabilities? Do I not? I like something that's going to breathe more. So I'm probably going to get something decent, that's going to, and I wouldn't mind spending a bit more to have something comfortable,
Oh, yeah. It's got to be waterproof, too, if you're going to be wearing them in the wintertime.
Yeah, the ones that I have are, and I've got some hardcore like hunting boots that have thinsulate in them that go up like mid shin. They're an actual good hunting boot, camouflage. They're waterproof and they're leather and like a breathing nylon, but they're insulated. And those are nice, but man, they're heavy and clunky, and I would never wear those hiking. They're good for like walking out on the prairie, going after a deer, but not for going up, hills and inclines and stuff like that. So it's going to be tough for me to figure out what I want to go with. I'm going to need to get something soon. So that's why I'm getting ideas from you guys. Yeah. Single shot. What about socks?
That's what I like about those extra hikers.
Okay. Socks? Are you a wool sock guy or not?
If I wear them once in a while, if things are going to get really cold and nasty out, I'll put those on. Yeah. Most of the time, I wear a good durable sock that I've been picking up rather reasonably, and they're comfortable to wear. I wear them with just about everything that I put on my feet, and they wear good. They're not something you put on your feet and with regular changes, the things have holes in them in 6 months, But I'd like to try a few of those that Squibb has been mentioning, and I just may hear sometime in the near future because Squibb does a lot more hiking than I ever used to.
Well, he's put some serious miles on, and plus he's not afraid to talk about how well they've held up, and if there's been problems and what customer service is like. So it's neat to, like I said, a lot of the times the smaller channels, if they legit went out and bought them, you do trust their opinion, because I don't want to drop 100. Because I've been, like a lot of people, I've given into hype on stuff and bought things and been let down a lot,
Yeah. No, I still buy just one pair to try out, see how they wear for me,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Outcast makes a pretty good point here. One of the big problems with footwear is sizing. Most people just grab what seems to fit instead of measuring and getting a proper fit. Widths are nice to have that option, different width options, which most of your shoe places don't have. Like most of your sporting goods stores don't really do the widthing unless they're New Balance or maybe Brooks, you know? Yeah.
I'd like to address that one.
Yeah.
Because that could be the problem with those grip stick socks. All right. They didn't beta test them with me. They should have. You know, BJ, if you're listening, you might want to have me, you know, if anybody can break it, a Marine can. So I went to the John Stone and Murphy outlet store at the mall, and I got myself a really nice pair of dress shoes and a couple shirts. And I actually brought in my Grip 6 dress belt, and the guy kind of scoffed at it. And I go, "No, this is a dress belt." And he goes, "No, it isn't." I'm like, "Dude, just sell me some shoes."
Leave it to the Jay Murphy salesman to push that out. I like Jay Murphy stuff.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
So I saw these shoes decades ago at a suit store.
I've always wanted Johnson & Murphy's, but I've never broken down to buy them. I've wanted a pair of them since I was in high school.
Yeah, and at the time we were really poor, and I was barely getting by, and I was looking at, and I'm going, dang, these things are pricey. I'll just go to JCPenney, right? And I said, one day I want to get these. Then I found out every time president is inaugurated, he gets all these gifts. And one of the companies that Johnson & Murphy gives the president a pair of their shoes. I'm like, wow, really? They're made in America, or some of their stuff is made in America. So I went down there to get, because I was going to a job interview and I wanted this job. So I said, I'm going to look sharp for this, right?
Yeah.
And I think I actually wore the shoes in my my McCloskey video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So anyhow, the guy sizes me and he goes, "Ooh, this is gonna be a problem." And what do you mean? He goes, "You've got double wide feet." I go, "No, I've got wide feet." He goes, "No, you've got double wide feet." He goes, What are you wearing?" I said, "I'm wearing a 13 wide." And he goes, "You're more like a 10.5 double wide." And I'm like, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah."
You've had to buy bigger. You've had to buy longer shoes to get them to fit the width.
And that's what he said. He says, "You had to buy longer shoes to get them to fit because I've tried. The only thing that have ever fit close to that, I've got a pair of 12 double wide Mickey Mouse boots, and they are so comfortable. They are so comfortable. And I've been looking around for double wide 12s, and he said, "You're not going to find these. It's like somebody trying to get a size 16. They're special ordered.
Yeah.
It's hard enough finding 13 wides." I went to Shields in Iowa City when I was coming back from Thunder on the Prairie to find shoes, because I knew Shields would have 13 double or 13 wide shoes. A lot of places don't even have 13 wide shoes. And he said, "Yeah, you would probably have to special order shoes or have them custom made or something like that." He goes, "For right now, you're gonna," and we tried everything. We tried different shoes, and he goes, "Nope, it's got to be a 13 wide that you wear." And I ended up getting dress shoes there. Now, maybe my feet slide around a little bit more in the boots, especially if they've got a steel toe, right? Yeah. And maybe that's what wore on these Grip 6 socks. But it didn't wear out as fast or in the same spot on the other socks. That's the only thing I can say is, to be fair, to be objective, right? To do objective reviews, maybe it was the fact that these socks really aren't designed for somebody with double wide feet. But, for right now, 13 wides work. They've worked for a long time. And when I was in the military, they told us that when you get your steel-toed boots, because I worked on aircraft, so we got issued steel-toed boots in addition to having our combat boots and jungle boots and all that crap. Always get a half size bigger with steel toes. So I've made that a thing since, because my feet have gotten bigger as I've gotten my 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and it just works. So sizing your feet is important. I think Outcast brings up a good point, but you might be one of those people that just has a size that is very difficult to shop for.
Yeah. When I was working
Black
in the
Cat,
shoe shop,
go ahead. Go ahead.
When I was working in the shoe shop there, Dexter Shoe, we had a set of or a pair of size 23 sandals.
Holy crap!
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar?
Holy crap!
Magic
Who
Johnson?
the hell are these going to?
Larry Bird?
Nope. Andre the Giant.
Oh,
nice,
dude, that is sweet.
I had a pair of his sandals in my hands.
Can you imagine the eBay value of those sandals today? They would bring hundreds of thousands of dollars. Just to have that on your wall and display that's the sandal that Andre the Giant wear. I mean, that alone is like, man, that's like like a casino would buy that, just like Hard Rock Cafe would buy that just to show that off,
Oh yeah.
man.
Yeah, there's places out, even these big companies, well, like Dexter used to be.
Yeah.
That would make custom sizes for somebody. My grandfather, when he run the moccasin shop, he runs several pairs of custom-made moccasins and slippers for guys with, like me, squib, size 12 wide, size 13 wide. He'd make them a pair of shoes or a pair of moccasins or something. And
you gotta bring that back. You gotta bring that cottage shoe industry back, man. That's what we need.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he was known worldwide. Everybody knew my grandfather as far as his shoe shop was concerned.
Dude, that's awesome, man.
He was quite the guy. So,
cool.
A lot of the stuff that he had in his wood shop, he had a wood shop there as a hobby. And I got most of his equipment that he had. So, I was pretty fortunate as far as that goes. But yeah, if you look around, there's God, I can't remember the full name of their YouTube channel. I think it's Heath and something, or something in Heath.
Okay.
But they're custom cobblers.
Oh,
and
cool. Okay.
They put down a video. I think it's every Saturday. That they put out a video, and some of that stuff is really, really good. And
man, on an individual level, that's a lost art, man. That's just something you just don't see anymore.
You better believe it. And they'll recondition expensive shoes. Some of these guys will pay $200-300 for a pair of dress shoes, and they wear them out. Well, what am I going to do? Buy another pair? No, you get a hold of these guys, and they completely rebuild and recondition. Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Gizzard Gary's out there. So Gizzard Gary's joining in. Good morning, Gary. Welcome. We're having a good, lively discussion about hiking gear. So we're having a lot of fun. We've just barely gotten out of socks at this point. Hey, Black Cat, what about you, man? When it comes to socks, what is your go-to? Are you a wool guy? Is there some weird high-tech blend that you do? Are you a cotton sock guy? What do you think, Black Cat?
I'm a wool guy. I have a lot of pairs, of kind of cheaper pairs of them. I have one pair that I got in the spring that I tried. I wanted to get them because they're darn tough, and a lot of big hiking channels recommend them.
Yeah.
And they're pretty nice. They're expensive, but the nice thing with them is they have a lifetime warranty. So when you wear them out, you just take them to if you have an REI near you or any place that carries darn tough brand, you can take them back and just get another pair.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize REI carries those. I barely had a chance to walk around the REI. I just picked up a few small items. They're a raincoat and an energy bar. I didn't get a chance to really look and see what else they sell aside from REI.
The only reason I saw that was because basically in PA, there's only 2 stores that actually carry them. So REI, if I wanted to, the only one I ever go near is REI. So it's all right, well, if I ever wear them out, I can drop by REI and switch them out.
I was just there 2 days ago. I wish I would have grabbed a pair of them because I've got a hike coming up here. So I might have to order some online quick and get them, Dude, that's cool. Okay. Defense Dad out there says his stepson wears a size 15 shoe. We always had to custom order them for him. Razor JB says that he did meet Andre the Giant one time. Dude's hands engulfed my father's head. There's Andre the Giant right there. Oh, sorry, that's Black Hat. My bad. All right.
Oh, sorry, I'm messing with my stuff.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on. We're going to move up the ladder here. We did have some discussion about this a little bit earlier. We're going to talk about pants. And Black Hat, I'm going to start with you because you've got me interested in a pair of pants that are affordable, that you say work well for you.
Yeah.
Wrangler makes an active outdoor pant. They're $33 online. So what is it? How does the water repellency work? With the mobility, pros and cons?
They're not water repellent. What they are is they're kind of a quick drying.
Okay.
Type.
Okay.
So instead of
a stretch poly blend, something kind of thing going
on,
right?
I don't know if we've even mentioned it because I hopped out for a while, but one of the worst things you can wear is cotton when you're out in the woods. For any extended period of time.
Water. It'll hold water. It'll dry weird. It'll chafe. I'm just saying, these are things that I've run into. Yeah. Yeah.
Blue jeans, something like cotton blue jeans, they will weigh 40 pounds when they're wet and they won't dry for 4 days. you know, or a cotton T-shirt. So I try and wear like lighter moisture wicking stuff.
Okay.
Those are kind of a blended, like they're like a nylon rayon kind of blend to them, and they do dry fairly quick. And you can get them even cheaper. Walmart carries those, and if you wait, you can find them on clearance. I think I got a pair like 2 years ago on clearance for like $20.
Is it like $20, $15?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like 40% off or something like that, what they normally sell them for. So
now these on the left, these would look terrifying on me right here. This just is not work for me. The Wrangler Flex Waist Outdoor Cargo Pant. I'm gonna pass on that because that just looks. I don't want to scare anybody. The ATG by Wrangler Men's Reinforced Utility Pant. So more of a relaxed fit. You get different panels sewn into them, so you have a little better mobility.
Yeah. I have a pair of those, and I have a different pair that's more like cargo. They have like zippered cargo pockets on the side.
Okay.
They're not quite as tight as those other ones that you saw, though.
But again, $50. We're not talking $200 or $300 pants here, you know. So there's utility pant. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you've got the range cargo pant. Is that what you've got? The ATG by Wrangler.
Yep.
Here's the thing. So, you know, we're Gen Xers, you know, so the cargo pants are like, that's the language we speak. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be buried in cargo pants, cargo shorts. You know, I know they're very frumpy, but my God, they're not just comfortable. They're comfortable. Plus, when we were working back in the day as kids, you need the pockets to put all your stuff in it because we didn't have an all-in-one device for our life. You know, we had all kinds of crap we had to carry with us at work and college.
I still rock the dad shorts, the cargo shorts. I got multiple different colors of them. Yeah.
If you really want to tick the wife and kids off, just wear the zip offs. You know, those just really tick off the kids and stuff. So
I actually do. And that was the other pair of pants I was going to mention. Is my favorite pair now that I wear in the sun, like this time of year, is a lighter pair. They're Columbia makes them. They're zip off. And those are like
zip off short pant shorts or whatever you call them. Or,
whatever they're called. They're made for they're hiking pants, but they zip off into shorts. I wear them in the summer a lot of times because I like the pants to keep ticks off you and stuff when you're hiking. Or up here in the Northeast, we have what's called stinging nettle. I don't know if you've ever encountered that stuff.
No, I've not had the pleasure of that in Nebraska. No.
Oh, it's a wonderful plant. It's a wonderful plant that looks harmless, and then when you walk through it, it basically puts some kind of liquid that feels like bees are like stinging you. It's fun stuff, and it encroaches the trail a lot of times in a lot of the trails that we have. So long pants, if you're anywhere where there's going to be stinging nettle, is pretty much a must.
Good idea to have a clue about the vegetation you're going to be dealing with. When you read reviews, when people review trails, they mention cactus, they mention brush, a lot of low-lying bushes you got to walk through. How clean is the trail maintained? You know, is there stuff that's because you know, you want to enjoy the hiking, but you also don't want to have to take a machete with you the whole time that you're trying to get to where you're going.
You can usually tell that by like how popular it is. Like if you're looking up like on for this area, we have a website. It's called Mid-Atlantic Hikes. Yeah. It'll list a lot of popular hikes in Virginia, PA, you know, this area basically. And depending on how many people have reviewed that, you usually tell that's probably pretty well maintained because it's really popular. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
If you're just looking on your map and you find something that says Bob's Trail that runs from here to here, well, it might still exist there, but in the middle of summer, you might need to clear a couple things off the trail in the middle of your hike. You know, but now, if you really want to be safe, go to like one of the big national scenic trail. Like if you're on the East Coast, the Appalachian Trail. The maintenance on that is going to be like top notch.
Oh, cool.
Or if you're, you know, out your way, I don't think the closest thing you would have would be like one of the CDT routes.
Well, a lot of the trails, the maintenance that would happen on the trails that because we don't have a ton of them, we've got trails in Lincoln, but we don't have a ton of them, right? They get heavily used. So I think that part would keep them worn in and broken, and people maybe actually kind of clearing them. Jay Hike is out there. Patagonia, for all of you poors out there, that's definitely the brand that you're going to want to go
get. You just call that Patagucci when I see it.
Patagonia.
A lot of the people that come up to my area from New York City to like hike and fish, you see a lot of Patagonia from there.
A lot of Patagonia and North Face and Sitka. Well, Sitka's more for hunting, but you know, good stuff. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but like our REI is kind of on a level of like LL Bean in terms of what Columbia. I would say it's comparable to like Columbia price point wise and
North Face. North Face. I don't know any of those.
So Defense Dad says, don't let him fool you. Travis wears Lululemon yoga pants to hike. You know, I might just have to test a pair of Lululemon yoga. Do they make yoga pants for men? I've never been in Lululemon before. In fact, it sounds like a pastry shop, but it sounds like they sell clothing and stuff, I guess, bags.
I would have figured you for wearing the old school tiger stripe, the Zuba pants. You know?
Got the Zubas?
Figured at your age, you still owned a pair of Zubas or two.
No, I've got a weatherproof brand, which is what it's called, which they sell at Costco. They sell them at Costco. I've got the zip off, ripstop nylon khakis that I wore in a lot of my videos, and they've got cargo shorts on them. I'm probably going to wear those for my hike that I have coming up, but they're not stretchy material. I like the stretchy material because you don't have to worry about it tearing. It's going to give. And that's kind of the outdoor pants idea is when you go with an outdoor pant, you're going to be getting a looser fit, sometimes a construction more for mobility. More of a stretch material that's going to give, which is important for men our age. You want that stretch instead of a blowout. But no, I do not own a pair of yoga pants, nor do I intend to. I tried yoga once. I wore my Adidas shorts, and it was a very unpleasant experience. So nothing against yoga. New York Outcast, mic drop comment of the day. Long live cargo pants. That's right. That's right.
I've met New York Outcast, and I believe he was wearing cargo pants at the time.
I don't to work, but I do have a pair. I've got some Dickies cargo pants. Yeah. They're just handy. But the problem with the cargo pants, it kind of depends on where the pockets are. Because if they're low enough, the stuff bangs off the side of your knees. Like you throw your pocket tool in there, and it's just like having a piece of iron banging off your knee the whole time. So cargo pants I have a love-hate relationship with them. Love the extra space, the mobility, just the tactical appearance of them. And so Razor JB, I don't care. Cargo pants and shorts till I die. Actually work and use them. They're becoming popular again with young people. Surprisingly, cargo pants are making a comeback, probably because they're out of ideas to market to kids. So let's just jump on the 90s and start redoing the cargo pant thing. Let's see. Mountain View. I can't remember. Mountain View. Was it you that requested the 10mm auto chat? Just want to get it out there. We're planning on that one in 2 weeks. We'll have a 10mm auto chat. So yep, here you go. I've got my first 10mm. Picked up some AAC ammo, shooting it this weekend. There you go, man.
I thought we were going to have a 10mm socket chat too.
That's my favorite.
You know what? I had to find a 10mm auto ammo.
No joke. I had a 2001 Jeep Cherokee Sport. It's what XJ series. You could fix anything on that Jeep with a 10mm socket. I swear to God, they use 10mm for everything.
I had that exact same Jeep at one point.
Yeah, you could do the oil change with it. You could take the seats out with it. You could take everything's a 10mm bolt on that vehicle. Brilliant. Jay Hike, another comment of the day. Spandex, not just for cycling. You'll get spandex gets blended a lot into as a material, like 1 or 2% of it for some give in pants. You'll notice that, or nylon or polyester. That's kind of how that works. And so you get a chance to go that route. Mountain View says they had me do yoga as part of physical therapy. I did it in camouflage jean shorts. So there you go. Mountain View. That's very spiritual, very connected to nature. My mom said that she got me some hot pink yoga pants. Mom, no, I'm going to have to take those back. I'm sorry. I won't. I'm not going to do hot pink. You couldn't pay me enough to do hot pink yoga pants. All right. I have no reputation to uphold, but what little bit is still there, no hot pink yoga pants. No capris for men.
Size,
yeah.
So I think at my size, I'm legally, I can't legally wear yoga pants. I think
no.
Somehow, I get somehow charged with something on that.
Good deal. So yeah, Mountain View, we got you covered, buddy. Tara Smith's Kitchen. Tara Smith says women's jeans have no durability, especially in larger sizes. Men's jeans last, but have an awkward gap in the waist. So I just buy men's. I'm lugging hoses and knee-deep mud, not worried about fashion. It seems like women's jeans, like the denim seems to always be really thin. They're more about like the fit and not so much about the long-term durability. I can understand that. If you guys have a spouse or whatever, when it comes to getting jeans and stuff, you get it. All right. I don't know if we really need to mention much about belts because you're going to use whatever belt works for you. Maybe you want like a weight-bearing belt. If you pack a firearm when you're out hiking, you might want to get something with maybe a steel band built into it, or just get yourself a good rigid leather belt. Belts are something where you're just going to use whatever works for you. Yeah, Black Hat, go ahead.
I'll say something. If you're wearing a pack that has a hip belt on it, do not get something with a huge belt buckle because you have to cinch that hip belt over top of where your belt is going to buckle in the front. I wear it's like a trainer's belt. It's a gun belt, but it's a trainer's belt that's like nylon.
Yeah.
With just a cinch in the front.
Yeah.
And that doesn't seem to get in the way of when I put my pack on. The ones that
is it just like a clip,
like
a black plastic clip that locks in? Is that what you have? Like a, has like little knobs on the sides?
It's a metal clip, but it's in the front like that, and then that's the way your hip belt on like a decently sized backpack's going to have that black plastic clip. So what I'm saying is, if you have a metal belt buckle, I mean, I don't know, think anybody here's from like Texas, but say you don't want to wear your rodeo belt.
Your rodeo belt, yeah,
right.
Yeah. So here's what you should do, since we haven't really talked about like actually getting out there. Like, load yourself up and dress how you think you want to dress for your hike, and then just go for a walk. I know people are going to stare at you in your neighborhood, but I actually did mine on my treadmill in the fitness center. I didn't wear my actual boots because I didn't want to mess up the machine, but I wore my pack, the top I planned on wearing, the shorts I planned on wearing, and put it on and did a 3-mile walk on the treadmill. And it was amazing what I discovered about how uncomfortable it was. It's like, okay, this shirt's not going to work, or okay, this belt's cutting into my waist, or yeah, I've got that waist strap that I got to have on, but it's going to be rubbing against my belt. So if you can test this stuff before you actually go out the first time, it'll be a much more pleasant experience for you. Or even load your pack up and make sure physically you can bear the weight of it before you go do a 30-mile hike, Another
one to consider, since we're on Caliber Corner, is if you're going to carry a handgun, will your holster work wearing your pack? Especially if your pack has a hip belt, can you even get to it to draw from it? I will tell you, when I do backpacking trips where I wear a decently sized backpack with a hip belt on it, I cannot carry a firearm where I normally carry a firearm. There'd be no way to even
holster it. You could drop leg holster it, but concealing wise, depending on where you are, depending on the environment, you might freak people out. I'm saying that's their problem, but it becomes your problem when they call authorities,
Yeah. You can drop leg it. Another recommendation is the chest holsters. A lot of them, or like a fanny pack type thing, or a chest pack on the front where you can put the gun in. Personally, I just pocket carry. I carry a Glock 43X in a pocket holster, and it fits in my cargo pants.
And I just have my SCP Max 380 and a spare mag and a sticky holster, a pocket holster, and that's not bad. And then I usually have a second pistol in my backpack that's in a holster, a Kydex. Usually something with a higher capacity, something that's either, whatever, it is going to be extra weight, an extra pound to carry with you, but it's nice to have that, that second firearm with you. And we can discuss that. We'll get into the gear stuff in our next episode of this when we're talking. So yeah, Outcast says always test your gear. Let's see. What do we got here? Kim Williams says he is just saying he won't wear them, Ozzy. He never returns anything I buy him. Videos to come. Yeah, no, I'm not doing yoga pants. No, Mom. No. Tara Smith's Kitchen says even motorcycle jeans, they are awesome. If you're over a size 14, it's impossible to find fit. Men's go to about a 56, an option for your all with padding armor. I'm 6'2", not small, can't find anything. Yeah, that's, sometimes the selection is really, and that's kind of why I also like to go to REI. Like I said, I know it's not popular with a lot of the Pro 2A people, but they offer tall sizes and they offer more like length and waist options than what I'm going to get in my local Walmart. So sometimes you just got to go to places you don't always want to go to get the stuff that you need, and so that's something to think about. Now, but Tara Smith does say that yoga pants do fit. So consider yoga pants for your next hike. All right, now let's talk about tops. Something to think about, and you might think I'm nuts here. Consider doing like a thin material long sleeve, even like a sunscreen type of shirt, or like a dry fit top, or some sort of a poly blend that's going to breathe. If you do a cotton shirt, you're going to sweat, it's going to soak up, and you're going to get chafing over long walks. It's not going to dry out, or if it does, it's going to get stale and crusty and gross. So consider some sort of depending on how much you sweat, you may not sweat much when you're outside, but when you're in 90-degree Nebraska heat and it's 80% humidity, 85% humidity, you're going to sweat. So I just started to kind of move over to the whole dry fit shirt thing, which they're not that expensive, $25 will give me a decent one. The nice thing about the long sleeves when it's really hot out, and I'm starting to see a lot of guys doing like long sleeve t-shirts with a thin hood. It protects your neck. It protects your ears, your arms from getting roasted all day, especially if you forget the sunblock. Or if you just want to just have some coverage for plants or insects, consider doing a thin, breathable, long sleeve shirt. Now, if it's going to be really hot out, you're not going to be comfortable. You're going to keep pushing your sleeves up. But for me, I try to do some sort of a dry blend shirt just because it breathes better. Or if I'm going to do cotton, I'll pack a second shirt and then change it, before I return, or change it when I get back to the car, because having a backpack on, your back's going to sweat. So consider that when it comes to tops, you're going to dress according to the season, right? If it's cold, you might want to do a hoodie. You might do a sweatshirt. You might do a button-up shirt, collared, plaid. You might do some fleece. It really depends on what the weather's going to do for you. So you want to check. Squib, what about tops? Do you really care about shirts when it comes to hiking? Do you try to go light? Do you do long sleeves to block the sun? What works for you?
Well, I've had situations where I've gone out in the morning, it's been 30, and by the time it's getting close to noon, it's already up to 70. So
yeah,
I mean, if I put on a hoodie or something like that, that's good enough. If I keep moving, I really don't need to layer up too much. If I'm setting still, like sitting in a deer blind, that's where I freeze my butt off. But long sleeve is kind of nice because it does kind of keep the sun off you, and you can spray yourself with sunblock or use the sunblock lotion, but that stuff just gets all sticky. It's like
look at your construction workers, look at your roofers, your landscapers. Typically, long sleeves is the standard issue, and big hats, because the idea is blocking you from baking in the sun and then roasting all day. You'll be hot, but you won't be uncomfortable. Yeah. So then, Squib, so you're going to be looking at do you do any kind of poly blend or any kind of dry fit shirts or anything like that? Have you ever tried anything like that at all?
I mean, I've got a couple from Under Armour, and I've worn them as a standalone shirt, or I've worn them in layers underneath other things. They work. I've worn the summer weight stuff in winter. I find that more comfortable. It's kept me warm. I've got like a summer weight long sleeve Under Armour shirt that it works great in the winter, works great in the summer. So if you get something that's breathable and moisture wicking, that sort of thing, it'll work out. But if you're all sunburnt, it doesn't help. I mean, when you're, itching and scratching because, you're peeling and stuff like that, you're thinking about it 2 weeks later going, dang, this is still.
Yeah. And you don't want to go out because you're still recovering I got a pretty bad sunburn this summer because it took me 2 weeks to totally get over it, not be uncomfortable and peel and itch. So it was nuts. Yeah.
Really, what I think about more than the sun, because it could be cloudy or whatnot, is protection from bugs and thorns and things like that. If you ever see me with my crew socks or tube socks or hiking socks or whatever, that sometimes they just go a couple inches past my ankle and sometimes they go dang near up to my knee, it's because I found that when I'm wearing shorts or pants or something like that, I could brush up against a cactus and every little layer helps. The jeans might get brushed up a little bit. I like to have boots. People call them high tops, but I mean, I like this layer of protection from my boots.
Up over the ankle?
I like my pant leg to go over the top, and I like my socks to go above the boot. And I don't like quitters.
I need to get a pair of those for hiking, definitely. Yeah.
I don't like the socks that fall down. I don't like quitters. So I'll actually layer up, whether it's hot weather or cold weather, to deal with things like, when you're walking down a trail and there's brush on either side. I know some people might not deal with that in the area they're in, but in a lot of places I like to hike, there's brush and thorns and things like that. I will overlap the layers. So I suppose the secondary thing is it protects me from the sun. There are times where we've gone hiking and my wife's worn shorts and I've worn pants. She goes, "Aren't you uncomfortable in those?" And it's like, yeah, I'm hot and sweaty and a little sticky, but I don't have anything cutting me up or anything else like that. So I look kind of dorky with if I'm wearing shorts and I've got my long socks, but those socks are there to protect me.
Yeah, it's more about function over fashion. You don't really care about those things when it comes to just being able to be comfortable and protect your legs, because you don't have to stop and pull thorns out or get stung or whatever you want. Yeah.
And the same thing is with the shirt sleeve. Sure, it does protect you from the sun, but once again, if you're hiking somewhere where you might brush up against something, if you're going up a steep incline where you've kind of get down on all fours to get up over this one spot, otherwise you're going to slip or something like that, having a long sleeve shirt is helpful, because now you're not, rubbing your arms up against the rocks or sand or whatnot. And once again, somebody else would be like, "I don't hike in a place like that," or "I only hike on paved trails." Nothing wrong with that. That's exercise. You get to see things, but I try to go off the trails from time to time. And I need something that I did a shortcut. I was in the Oregon mountains, and I was up against the clock because I wanted to get up to the top and film the sunset. That was that trip that you gave me that Olight, and the first Olight. And I actually cut through all the thorny cactus, and it was a mess. And where my shorts stopped and above my socks is where I got my legs cut up, but everywhere else didn't get cut up. I made it up to the top right before the sunset, and I set up 2 cameras, and I'm up there filming, and then the sun sets, and I go, oh crap,
I got to go back down.
It's dark. What am I going to do? Wait, I've got this new flashlight.
I've got my own light. Yeah.
But, I really shouldn't. Ordinarily, I wouldn't do that. I'd walk on the trail, which is gravel and dirt and things like that. But I was trying to cut diagonal across everything to save time. So having stuff like longer socks or something or a long sleeve shirt is helpful in a situation like that.
Definitely. Single shot. What about you? When it comes to tops and being out in the outdoors, you're out in Maine, you're out in the woods and stuff. Do you do long sleeve shirts or do you do t-shirts? What's kind of your go-to for being out in the elements? What do you do? Give him a moment. Okay. You might be having some audio trouble. Black Hat, we'll go ahead and move over to you. What's kind of your preference for tops? Do you do the poly blend thing? Do you do the cool dry wicking stuff? Because there's so many high-tech fibers now you can buy when it comes to camping gear and stuff and hiking tops. What's your go-to?
I have quite a few of like the sun hoodie, kind of dry wick type shirts. Believe it or not, I'll make a recommendation. They're cheap. Walmart, go back to the fishing department. You'll find like 40 different colors of them for like $20 a piece. And they work
Defense
fine.
Dad mentioned the Columbia fishing shirts, which many times Costco and Sam's Club carry in the summertime. And they're $25 or $30. They've got a UV blocker built into them, and they've got the mesh panels and the pockets. So yeah, your fishing shirts are awesome for hiking. They look a little bit nicer. Plus, if you're gonna conceal a firearm, it's nice having that extra layer over your undershirt so you can hide that holster. And you can get those in long sleeve or short sleeve, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. But you're right about that. I always forget to go back to Walmart. Usually has an end cap or a section in fishing where they have that lightweight, comfortable, basically hiking grade clothing that you can use that's intended for fishing. Maybe not the colors you want, like the neon blues and pinks and greens and stuff, but you can usually find something that's going to work for you.
I really don't care when I'm out. If I'm out in the middle of the woods, the only people seeing me might be the 3 people that pass me. So hey, if you can't put up with the garish color that I'm wearing for 30 seconds walking by, that's your problem. But if you want to spend a little more money, I don't know if we mentioned KUIU. They make more hunting type clothes.
Okay.
But they have it's called a Peloton mid layer that they make. That's like a hoodie, like a mid layer hoodie that is super lightweight and works great for like an extra layer, especially in the spring or fall. Like it's got a hood to it. You can wear it as a base layer, underneath like another. My go-to is like a hoodie like that in the fall, and then I have a zip up. Merrill makes it. It's a lightweight fleece that you zip up over it. With those two things on, I can hike comfortably down to damn near freezing if I'm moving. And then,
you want to look into some sort of. I've got a North Face fleece zip up coat that I got at TJ Maxx for $40 or $50 many years ago, and it's a little bit water repellent, and it's a little bit waterproof, but it's good to get one extra layer to keep you warm when it gets down to like the 50s or 40s, Yep. And if you're out,
fleece works great, and don't forget, if you're bringing a rain shawl along with you anyway, that's just like a windbreaker too. So if it gets real cold, rain gear tends to hold in heat a lot. So if you put a rain shawl over a fleece or something like that, you've basically got a winter jacket on at that point. If you're going to wear
it's almost like a winter coat.
Windbreaker, especially if you have a base layer on with it.
That's the other thing too.
That's all stuff you're going to carry with you anyway.
If you got to do some serious hiking and you're going to be in the rain, you really want to consider your gear, because a traditional, just like polyester raincoat is going to be water repellent, but you're going to sweat like crazy in that thing. You almost might even be better just getting yourself wet instead and not overheating. Gore-Tex is good, but Gore-Tex is very expensive. It's a waterproof, breathable material that you might drop $350 or $400 on a Gore-Tex coat. But if you're in like Pacific Northwest or you're up in some serious moisture, consider Gore-Tex, because you can layer underneath of it to be comfortable. But it's a very expensive fabric. Yeah.
I would say consider it too if you're planning on doing multiple days, like you're going to do an overnight or 2 days, because if you get wet, your chances for drying out are very slim. Now, if you're doing like a long trip, like you're so you might as well just bring an extra layer to swap out and try and dry your stuff while you can. But
yeah, absolutely.
If you're going like on an overnight, I always bring something to block rain, because if my shirt gets soaking wet, I don't know if anybody here's ever hiked and had to get up the next morning and put back the wet shirt you hiked in the day before.
Unless you got a dry, windy climate where you can let stuff hang and dry. Like in Nebraska, it won't. In fact, Nebraska will absorb the overnight dew and it's going to be soaked the next day. So, you know, if you do bring a change of clothes, maybe consider putting them in like a gallon bag, a Ziploc bag to keep them dry. It's worth the extra weight to have the change. Don't think you're just going to sleep in what you got and then just get up and go back. Unless you're going to do some serious walking, and maybe your tent will keep you dry, depending on what you're going to do. But yeah, consider an extra layer of clothing. Look at the weather, you know. Yeah.
Pro tip: in any of the packs that I carry, be it a day pack or an overnight or a week trip or whatever, I always take a contractor bag, like a contractor's trash bag, cut it to length for the top of my pack. Anything I want to stay dry, I stuff down in that contractor bag, and then I roll it down, and all that stuff in your pack will stay dry. You know what I mean? Then you don't have to have multiple Ziploc baggies for each little piece of gear or whatever.
Or put the contractor bag
everything in the bottom of your back.
Put your contractor bag over your whole backpack.
You could try that too. I always put it on the inside, because then, I mean, the only downside to your backpack getting wet is it's going to get heavier. I mean, but some stuff you don't need, like if you have a lunch or something, it doesn't matter if it gets a little wet, depending on what food you're bringing. But, you know, I always want to keep at least one dry layer, or if you're bringing like a sleeping bag with you, keep that down in there, you know, keep that stuff dry down at the bottom.
Yeah. Defense Dad says, pro tip, if you want to learn to dress to stay cool in hot weather, just ask a fat guy. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Defense Dad knows, man. I know. And one thing about these dry fit materials that you see from Adidas and Nike, a lot of the times it's just a 60-40 cotton poly blend, or it's like a 40 spandex, 60% polyester blend. You're not getting some magical high-tech fabric most of the time. You're just getting a poly blend is what it is. So you don't have to go buy an expensive $80 poly blend shirt, or if you go to your local Walmart, like we said, go hit the fishing department or maybe the outdoors department, the camping area, and you'll probably find something that's going to be half the price that should hold up or should last. It's going to be the same type of material that's going to offer you the same type of. Now, there are some very uber high-end elite tops you can get that are designed for moisture wicking and whatnot and odor control, but you don't have to spend that kind of money. We're never saying you got to go out and be a hiking gear snob. You can spend whatever you want, but you will find some stuff more comfortable than others when you get out there. So the last thing we're going to have for today, we're going to get into bags, gear, all that fun stuff in a couple weeks, because next Saturday there won't be a Caliber Corner episode. There'll be one the week after. Is headgear. For me, boonie hat is awesome. I bought my second boonie hat of my life. At Costco, they had Adidas dry fit boonie hats for $15. I got a gray one. Love it. Absolutely love it for the heat we've had, blocking the sun. Ball cap, either mesh or full fabric. Consider one. If you have mesh, your head's still going to get sunburned, so keep that in mind. So I like to have just a full fabric ball cap with me when I go. I always keep one in the back of my truck or back of my car. So if I get out to go somewhere and I need a ball cap, I've always got a spare. Single shot, are you still with us, buddy? You there? You might be having some reception issues. Okay. Squib, let's go to you. What about headgear? Do you do a boonie hat at all when you go out in the really hot extreme stuff? Or are you just a ball cap guy? What do you do?
On an occasion, I'll wear my boonie hat, but for the most part, it's just a ball cap. Yeah. The boonie hat does offer more shade, and it's breathable. The boonie hat flies off my head a lot easier. It's got the chin strap, but normally that's up over the top there.
Okay.
But that I'm not against boonie hats at all. I think they're functional and whatnot. I kind of have a big grape, so boonie hats don't fit my head as well. It'd be nice if there was a boonie hat with some sort of adjustment on
adjustment. There you go. There you go. Grip 6 boonie hat.
Yeah. Hey, they could. I mean, they have they have the capacity for it, but
one boonie hat for the rest of your life. You know, the grip 6. You know. Yep.
But yeah, headgear. I mean, I just, as long as I've got a hat, I guess I'm good. You know, you can always take it off. Something that you can fold up and put in a cargo pocket or something like that if you have to. Really, my hat is just a place for me to rest my sunglasses a lot of times. I mean, just they're up here all the time.
Same here.
So
when I have my contacts in, I do the same thing too. Yeah. Very, very true. Oh, I'm just putting out another shameless plug for the third YouTube channel that my buddy and I are currently running right now. So Live Love Nebraska. Get out there, check it out. Maybe I can feature some hiking stuff on that channel. We try to do all of our videos together, but I might see if I can do something solo and make it happen for you guys. So yeah, so for me too, same idea for hats. I've got like 24 ball caps. I'll grab one for whatever looks nice with what I'm wearing, and then also functionality. Do I need mesh? Do I need something? I've also got a like Elmer Fudd style one. I've got a flannel red and black George brand ball cap that my dad got at Walmart on clearance for $1. And it's got a wool blend in it. And that's like, I love wearing that thing like in the fall if I just want to keep my head warm, because I shave my head so I don't have anything to insulate my head to keep it warm. So I like to do that blended ball cap. It's very old school, man. I mean, I look like makes me look much older than I really am. But again, headgear is something to consider too. Have something, so you don't roast yourself and keep the rain out of your eyes and stuff. What's that?
Here it is. Amazon. Type in Boonie hat for big heads.
this Adidas one I bought, a pretty good size one. So
gigantic mini pearl sized Boonie hats. Yeah. Now, I just want something kind of simple, and preferably military, preferably made in America. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Some of these hats I don't want a bigger brim. I want it to fit a big head.
You almost need like a custom fitted Boonie hat that's you might have to go to like Lids or something and go get a college one or something that's fitted for you,
Oh, here's one that looks like it takes a patch. That'd be kind of nice too. Boonie hat that you can put a patch on, and we can just change out the patch for whatever you want.
Oh, there you go. So again, if there's a market for it, there's probably somebody that's going to buy it. So
yeah.
All right. We're going to go and wrap it up. It's been almost 2 hours. I actually forgot that I do need to run an errand real quick here. Defense says that Adidas does make comfy hats for big heads. Yeah, they're fitted hats tend to be pretty, like if you get a large, like an ML, medium large fitted Adidas hat. I've seen some of the Nebraska hats at Shields. It's too big for my head. I have to get the small, I have to get the S/M small medium hat to fit my head. So Adidas does make good, larger, and part of it's because of they make stuff for athletes. So like a lot of football players wear their hats, they tend to make stuff that's a little bit on the larger side. Like the Adidas Boonie hat that I have, it's almost a little bit too big for me, but it fits good. So yeah, something to consider if you're looking for a good hat. So we are going to go ahead and wrap this one up, guys. It's been 2 hours. We've had a wonderful discussion covering basically head to toes, the basics of the gear for going hiking. We didn't even really show off anything or talk much about it. The one thing I do want to show you real quick, if you want to get a hike on before we meet again in a couple weeks, you just want to get out and try it. It's good for you. I think a lot of us could probably use a lot more exercise. So check it out. Go over to, and I'm not promoted by these guys. I literally just found this in a Google search, traillink.com, which is really cool. I typed in a Lincoln zip code 68512, search for trails, go ahead and hit search. And this is the coolest thing. And I don't know if these are user posted or what. These are all trails that are within so many miles of where I live. So I've got the Antelope Valley Trail 2.1 miles away, Bellevue Loop Trail, Billy Wolf Trail, Bison Trail, Chief Standing Bear Trail. These are all just within a certain vicinity, within probably 25 miles of where I live. And I can hover over it and find it. I can filter it if I want to. They do show you if it's crushed stone or if it's going to be concrete or grass. That is very cool because the place that I'm going to be going to here soon, I need to look up and see what the terrain is going to be. So traillink.com. And I don't know if you can download a map or if they even have an app for it or anything like that. But if you want to find a trail, this is really cool. So this is something to check out. Don't know if they have any advertising on the website. It looks like you can log in. Maybe you can save some of your favorite trails and stuff. But get out. That's the main key. Get out and get some exercise. It can be a very, very rewarding experience, I think, for a lot of people. So get out there and definitely go check it out. So we will go ahead and call it here. Let's see. Squib, you said that you use all trails. All trails is what you like to use for hiking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got their app. I really just use it for reference. They've got a subscription service. I don't subscribe to it. I'm just looking for just maybe some help finding a trailhead or elevation or a few things like that. Okay. Over on TrailLink, they do show you, looks like they do show you the trail map too, which is pretty cool. I'm sure there's like a paid version and stuff. I do watch a lot of TFL, Fastlane Car, TFL, Fastlane channel on YouTube. They've got like 8 channels or 6 channels. They use Onyx X Off-Road, which is more for off-road and stuff, off-roading and stuff. But
really good detailed maps too. I also have a Gazette, which shows you all the wildlife management areas and all the trails and the resources that are available, which it's huge. It's like a Rand McNally. It's a giant Gazette, but I have a spare one I keep in my car just in case I'd ever get lost or need to get lost. And then there's another one that I keep just in my closet. That's if I ever need to look some stuff up. So, all right, guys, we're going to go ahead and call it. So let's see. Single shot, if you're with us, you want to say any final words before we go? Not sure if you got your cell phone signal back. No go. Shoot. Okay. All right. Black Hat, any final words of wisdom before we call it? These trackers, man.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll try and stop back for the next one on this when we get into gear and stuff too.
Yeah, it'll be a couple weeks, and then we'll do a top to bottom that time and start off with backpacks and fanny packs and shoulder bag. Probably a huge discussion just on bags alone, and then we can get more into some of the specific gear that we like to take for hiking, not necessarily camping, but more for hikes, in and out and one day kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right, I'll stop back for that. But yeah, no, it's I don't know. I might do a couple more gear reviews. I have stuff that I've been using for at least a year or two. I've had out on a bunch of trips for backpacking and hiking and stuff. So I have some stuff that I have in mind that works pretty well, really.
Guys, make sure you check out Black Hat Outdoors channel also. Go over there and sub because he's got a lot of really good reviews over there too. So make sure you check out his channel. And I'll try to get a link posted here in the comments so you guys can find it a little bit later on. Well, I've got you saved as a sub anyway, so I can bring that up. But do check out Black Hat Outdoors, and that's cool. Getting that kind of that year-long review on stuff. A lot of times it's an unboxing and overview. I'm guilty of doing a lot of those myself, but to have a nice, kind of long-term test report on something, I think that's very good too, just to see how it's held up. See if it's worth the money.
Like a lot of my backpacking stuff I did initial videos on some of the backpacking gear I had. I've changed out some of it, but a lot of it I've used for at least a year now, so I could go back and do some reviews on stuff and cool. Stuff that has held up over the course of 6-8 trips out in the woods.
Oh,
some
definitely.
of it even on hunting trips, fishing trips.
Dude, that's all right, man. Good deal.
All right, man.
Cool. Okay, take care. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate the feedback and the info. Thanks, bud. All right, Squibby, anything to say before we go?
Yeah. I don't like plugging my crap, but I'm going to plug my crap. So
do it.
Whatever.
Do it.
So because you said we're going to do a hiking show, I went back into some of my files and I made up a hiking video. I actually shot the video last year. There's a trail in Badlands National Park called Saddle Pass Trail, and I actually filmed 2 videos there. I was testing out boots and socks. And I also wanted to do a video of the trail, not the complete trail, but to give somebody an idea about what to expect. And I used the footage. I would actually walk a section and narrate. Then I'd back up and then walk it and not narrate.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd come, and then I'd come up to the top of the hill or whatever. And there's somebody there with their 18 kids making all this noise.
Yeah.
And I got to back up and do it again. And
go re-narrate again.
Yeah. I'm going through all this footage. It took me 2 days to do the Saddle Pass Trail video that I released last week. But I did that before the show. Tomorrow, I've got a video of driving around the park. There's more than one road to drive, but the most common entrance and exit is what I drove, and I sped up the footage and whatnot. But if you want to waste 35 minutes of your life, that video will be dropping tomorrow morning. And I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at some of my other files where I have shot footage. I've used them in my boot reviews and sock reviews. If you go into my playlist and look at desert boots or socks, you'll see some of my hiking stuff. But I've got more footage, and what I need to do is go back and pull up some of those older files and edit together some footage. Here's the thing. Some people don't go anywhere. They drive half an hour to the state park and they go, we took a vacation, whatever. They don't go anywhere, right? Or they go, I'm not going over there. I don't want to go over there. That's too far to go. That's too far to fly. It's too far to drive. I don't fly, whatever it is, right? Or they have a physical handicap, so they actually can't walk these trails. These aren't handicap accessible. You might be able to go so far onto a platform or something like that and see things, get the scenic overview, but that's about it. So if you watch videos like mine or some of the other ones out there, it'll give you an idea of what to expect if you're planning a trip. Okay. It'll give you an idea of what you're missing if you're one of these people who doesn't ever want to do this. And hiking isn't for everybody. and it allows you to see things if you're not able to physically get out there yourself. And
just, okay, so plug in the channel, Squibload or Squiblift. Which one would be the preference for seeing outdoors gear? Probably Squibload.
It'd be on the Squibload channel. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So that's the premise behind my videos. It isn't anything about this is what you have to do, or if you don't hike, whatever. It's if you're thinking about going, if you're one of these people who doesn't go anywhere, or if you physically can't go, that's what the videos are about.
Okay.
So
okay.
The quality is not the best. I will say that the stuff I shot last year, I shot with cameras that I went cheap on the cameras, and you can tell by the video quality. But still, it gives somebody an idea about what to expect if you want to go to these national parks, these state parks, and see these things. Not everybody's going to walk all the way around Chimney Rock. I videoed all of Chimney Rock. If you want to save yourself the 58-minute walk, okay.
You get the Nut and Fancy edition there, man. You get the whole, you get the director's cut, the Criterion cut with the extended footage. So
from that standpoint, I'll plug my channel. I plug my videos. I really don't. If you don't want to go see it, don't. Whatever. But if this is something that interests you, or you've said, yeah, I've seen it, but I'm not about to walk around it, but I'd like to see what it looks like if I walked around it or something. That's what any of my hiking videos. And even though I'm talking about the socks or the boots or something else in the desert boot videos or the sock videos, you also see some hiking footage. And I don't always hike the most difficult trails either. Sometimes I'm pressed for time, and I went out to Saguaro National Park East, and I hiked a very easy trail. The sun was setting. I got there late. I didn't have time to go and
really broke a sweat. You're like, well, that was fun,
yeah.
But
so somebody might go, well, that's all it is. Anybody can do that. Well, I hiked an easy trail. And if you read the description section, which nobody ever reads, it'll say things like that.
Easy hike.
Yeah. It'll give you an idea.
Hike. I did Everest without oxygen. Well, good for you. Why don't you read next time? Okay. Did you learn to read? Obviously not, because you didn't see the pinned comment that said, hey, this is a rated G trail. This is easy. It's great, Instead, you're going full whatever, full expedition, full maxpedition on me, Oh, man. All right. So, guys, make sure that you get over there. And, again, I put the shameless plugs in for Black Hat's channel and also Squibload channel. Get over there and sub, guys. Let's get Squib to 1,000 so he can monetize.
You know what's funny?
Get in the big pocket of big YouTube media and AdSense revenue.
Every time I touch 900 subs, I drop 30. And this has been going on for like a year.
That sounds like never enough ammo. It took him like 7 years to get to 100,000 subs, even though he was gaining 1,000 subs a month, but he never got to 100,000 for like 5 years. So
I find it amusing. I don't want the subs, so I don't care. But it's every time it's like, and it took me each 100, I had to get over a hump. So at 700, it did the same thing. At 800, it's been doing this with 900. Dude, I don't care. Don't sub. Don't watch. It's just, but if it interests you, if something like that interests you, or you want a different perspective where I'm not trying to sell you crap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha. Hey, Single Shot, you want to give us some closing comments here before we go?
I did put a very short video on YouTube here a little while ago, and I just letting folks know that, hey, I posted another video over on Rumble, and if folks have a chance to take a look at those,
get over there and
that
check it
one
out.
on YouTube is very short.
Okay.
So
cool.
But hope everybody has a good day. I'm going down through Massachusetts.
You drive safe, man. I heard the drivers are amazing there.
They're amazing. All right.
I'm going to give you the I'm also going to put your link to your channel there so people can go check your channel out. Yeah. So we got Black Hat Outdoors posted, Squibload, and Single Shot. Get over there and sub to those channels. Let's get Squibby to 1,000. Let's start the campaign now. That's right.
All right.
Get a taste of that sweet AdSense revenue, and you're going to be like,
no thanks. No thanks.
Hey guys, Maxpedition sent me a $5,000 pack, and I'm going to test it for you. Yep. We'll see. So, yep. All right. Anyway, guys,
don't get me wrong. Some of the there's some perks to some of that stuff, and actually, I do have a B channel that if I monetize it'll be that channel. It's really kind of neutral and whatnot, but Yeah, you know what I really want? I want the tax write-off. I don't want any of the other crap. I want the tax write-off.
You just need a Squibload LLC. That's all you got to do.
Pretty
and that's
much,
what most
yeah,
of our friends do. So, I mean, I'm not ripping on them. They're smart. I would,
Yeah.
except I don't have enough deductions to beat what Nebraska already gives me for an individual deduction, but still.
If I could write off what I spend in a year, the thing is, though, everything I spend on YouTube, I was going to buy it anyhow. That's the beauty of it.
You should be LLC in that. Squibload LLC. We need investors right now. Let's get going. So let's get going.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to go and let y'all go. So let's go ahead and say goodbye to everybody watching on the YouTube side. Bjorn, Hillbilly Up, Tommy Gunn, Kim Williams, Razor JB, Squibload, Squiblift, the entire Squibby Empire, the Squib Eye, Defense Dad, New York Outcast, Kevin Jung out there, Tara Smith's Kitchen in the house. Who else is watching? Mountain Views with us today, too. Gizzard Gary watching out there. Let's see, Jay Hike, Bjorn, Black Hat Outdoors, M. Gabriel, Tony York out there watching today too. Rocking the New Balances. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy. We had a good crowd out there today. A lot of people out there watching. Hopefully I didn't miss anybody. If I did, I apologize. But we'll be back in a couple weeks here. Chris Winsett out there, also Gunmetal Guy USA, Tactical FUD in the house. A lot of comments. Keith Gregory's watching today too. Firefighter 09100. Maybe we'll have him back next week. We'll see. Well, actually, no, in 2 weeks, because next Saturday there won't be an episode. I don't even know, guys. With work starting back up for me, I don't even know if I'm going to drop a video this week, just to let you know. I might do something kind of short and sweet, just kind of something handy to think about when you go to the range. And I might get that out there for you, but I don't really have any plans. I've been doing some stuff on my C channel, Live Love Nebraska, which I co-create with my best friend, Matt. And make sure you guys get over there and sub to that channel too. Lots of good content. We're adding more to it all the time. So make sure you check it out. So anyway, Kingpin out there today too. Thanks for watching, guys. I want you all to have fun. I want you to be safe. And as you know, we will talk to you soon. Now get out there and go do some hiking. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.